What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
What's up, fellas?
Yo.
What's going on?
We're going to have to start a new series called Make George Watch because I was sitting at the fucking movie theater yesterday seeing Guardians with my buddies.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Trailer for fucking Indiana Jones comes on, and this motherfucker says, I think I've only seen one Indiana Jones movie, and I don't remember which one it is. I was like, what? I was like, how is this possible? How have we been friends for this many years? He's like, actually, right. I saw two. I saw the shitty one with the aliens, which was the last one that came out.
Oh, God.
And then he goes, I've also never seen Hook. I was like, what the fuck? What's going on with you? No movie watching, guys, Marvin. What's your deal?
Can't just be watching anything. That's what I say.
That's fair. Look at Scream 6. That was a catastrophe.
Yeah.
Then this motherfucker, not moments ago, does he tell me, what does he say? Hang on, let me look it up. He says, I didn't find Evil Dead good whatsoever. I found it boring. Wow. I was like, oh, all right. This
Is he
dude
blind?
That's fair. Everybody has their own opinion.
Do not defend him. He likes the worst things. And like our whole lives. What am I rolling? Our whole lives. This fucking guy, he'll be like, yo, you got to watch this. It's like a 99% chance it sucks. So his opinion is completely meaningless. But that's fine. You're right. Everybody does have their own opinion, and some are wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, like that shit. That's right. Oh my God, the spiders are coming out now. It's getting warm.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've had
no spiders
bugs
here.
Are out.
Had 3 spiders in 2 weeks walk across my fucking desk. Not even having the fucking not even having the respect to just like be on my wall somewhere. They got to be all up in my personal space and shit. One fucking walk.
We got roly polies here. Hey, no spiders.
Nah, those don't bother me. Give me those all fucking day. Yeah.
I mean, spiders are good, bro. Spiders get rid of all the other bugs.
There's no other bugs in my bedroom for them to get rid of. It's like
yeah, because the spiders are there. You get rid of the spiders, now you're gonna have fucking.
That's a fair point.
Now you have to have fucking all kinds of shit. Oh yeah.
This thing fucking walked across my desk earlier. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. It's fast as fuck. Couldn't catch it. Then it disappeared. And then I saw it on my wall a few minutes later.
Crippling arachnophobia.
I don't even have arachnophobia. I don't think anyway. And then I went to go get a piece of toilet paper to kill it, and then I come back and it's fucking gone. Now I have to just like live here in this space.
Nah, yeah.
Yep.
You'll eat it when you're asleep. You'll be all right.
It's fine. Yep.
I'll wake
Extra
up,
protein.
I'll wake up feeling like kind of full for some reason. Or just a little satiated.
Yeah. A little spicy taste lingering.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there is. There's a lot wrong with that.
Yeah. C yells at me to kill spiders. I don't like to kill spiders. I like to let them outside.
Fuck that, Marvin. I kill those fucking things right away. They can't be
Some
living.
bugs I kill, like mosquitoes, you know.
Yeah.
What else? I can't think of any else that I kill, but I kill some bugs, but
I kill everything.
Are cool.
The only thing I don't kill is moths because I feel bad for them.
Yeah, moths don't do anything. They just fly around like idiots.
Yeah, get fucking stuck in my computer tower and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
flies are annoying, but my roommate's little dogs.
I will kill flies.
Chase and hunt the flies. So.
Oh, the little dog Ellie, she chases bumblebees all summer. She's gonna get fucking her ass stung.
Oh yeah.
So I almost pulled a Dusty on you guys tonight. I fell asleep. Almost missed
a lot
the
of
show.
Falling asleep here lately.
Yeah.
No, dude. First of all, and I've told you guys this. Anytime I adjust my sleep schedule to be like somewhat of like a normal human being sleep schedule, for like the first week or so, my body just is in shambles. And like at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, I just sit here like dozing off in my chair. So earlier I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to lay down. Because my back was also hurting. So I just went and laid on the couch and I was listening to fucking Hassan and I just passed out. And I only woke up, for the audience, I woke up 10 minutes before we started recording just now. And it's only because I barely hurt. My headphones were like on my desk and my couch is right there. It's like a couple feet away. But I heard the Discord notification through my headphones still being on.
Ding.
Yeah,
Yep.
but like I barely heard it. The fact that I heard it at all is actually kind of a miracle. So might be a big
Some
show
spider
for us.
senses.
Yeah, maybe I got bit by the spider while I was sleeping.
That's it.
Now I'm Peter Parker. Oh my god, that'd be
That's
sick.
right.
Okay, if I could be
You're
Spider-Man,
already in New York.
I would deal with the spiders.
Yeah.
That I'd be down with. But yeah,
At
Dusty.
least you
Well,
woke up.
yeah, I know.
Dusty
yeah.
did not wake up.
Yeah, no, we
from
had
his
we,
slumber.
did
We
not.
found out what happened, guys. Dusty
Yeah.
was asleep for
He
7
was-
hours.
he was sleeping.
Yeah. Took a nap at 7 and woke up at 1 a.m.
Hey, so since you were absent, why don't you real quick give us your thoughts on Scream since you weren't here?
I thought you
Sure.
What'd you say?
No, go ahead.
What did you guys rate it?
We didn't. That's the funny thing. That's why I asked
That
you.
is
to-
the funny thing.
All right. And it's Scream. They're so meta about this movie
to a fault, I would say.
that they try and make you think that it's gonna be different this time, and it's not.
Never
Like they
is.
were talking about, like,
Nope.
oh yeah, this is a franchise now because back you're like, oh, this is the sequel. Or,
The
well, it's a
requel.
franchise now, and everybody's at risk. And then they start calling themselves the core fucking four,
Yep.
and they psych you out and make you think that, okay, well, maybe some of them are gonna die. No, the core four
Right.
lived, and all the plot armor still exists, and it's the
Mhm.
same goddamn movie over and over and over. They try to trick you and make you think it's something else. It's not. So if you like watching that, I guess.
Right.
eh,
Right.
I don't
but
see why you would.
it's waning because it's like the Fast and Furious franchise. Just stop it already, please. Just stop it.
I agree.
Yeah, no, we couldn't even rate it. That was the Marvin thing. He enlightened me because I was gonna give it a 4, and Marvin's like, I can't even rate this shit. I was like, you know what? That's true.
Got nothing.
Yeah,
I got nothing.
I listened to the episode, but I forgot.
Yeah, I had
I guess
texted
that's
you.
why I didn't remember because
I was like, I was wondering if you watched because I thought that was funny. That it's the first time we didn't rate something. I think.
yeah,
So you didn't like it.
unrated. I mean, yeah, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, I know. I
It
don't
was
think.
worth. It was.
So how could you
it was
like
an
it?
entertaining
There's no way.
time to watch once, I guess. I don't know.
I don't even think it was that. I was so out of that movie.
Yep.
But not this week. This week we got a banger, boys. Strap in.
Mhm.
Have you guys watched anything else this week or what?
No, I
Yeah.
watched the first season of Ash, like I was telling you guys, but
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know if we talked about that last
we didn't.
episode. But
Well, you and I talked about it, and I didn't give spoilers. I was just saying how good of a show it was.
oh, that's right. Yeah, we
I
did
haven't
briefly
really
talk
had a
about it.
chance to talk to Dusty about it yet because he's the one that kind of reminded me about it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
about
Dusty,
the show. Yeah.
I said basically last week that I find it on par in terms of like 30-year franchise revival with good fan service. I found it on par with Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is
Right.
big.
I'm grainy. Right
So what'd you think of the
Yeah.
first season? Yeah, you're a little grainy. It's all right. You got some internet stuff.
little
happening.
Minecraft action going on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no big
it's-
deal.
Yeah.
What did I think of the first season?
Yeah, you liked it?
Oh yeah, it was great. Super funny. I didn't think it would be as good as it was.
Same.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing. Like I said, I left a comment on the video because when you were talking about it, I was like, yes, because it's a show where you don't have to have seen everything
Mm-hmm.
to appreciate the show. You can go in and say, oh, this show, like, oh, this is fucking amazing. This is
Yeah.
based on movies. Let's go watch those movies, and then like, I'll just open your eyes to the universe. But
Yeah.
Bruce
it's a
Campbell's so
great show.
good.
yeah, he is.
Even at
He
like
is.
He is the swashbuckler. It's
even at this age, he's great. And like the way that they just purposely do cheese stuff, like I don't know if you haven't seen them in a long time, Marvin, right? Specifically Evil Dead 2, because a
Yep.
lot of his personality from the show was developed in Evil Dead 2 when it went to more of a comedy movie, and then Army of Darkness. But like some of the early like not Easter eggs, but some of the early fan service, like when he like hits the button on his floor and like the shotgun comes up and he's like
Yeah.
groovy, like that's straight out of Evil Dead 2. Like that whole
Right.
personality was like created in those two movies. So yeah, I thought they did a great job of it. So I'm glad you watched.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna
liking
finish it. Yeah.
Fuck George, but yeah, whatever.
Fuck George.
Yeah.
George doesn't like this.
Well, no, he's
Oh,
never
right,
seen
what?
the old ones. I was gonna like.
Oh, he hasn't even seen the old ones.
No,
Okay.
he wanted to see the new one. Now he doesn't like it, which means he's probably not gonna watch he's for sure not gonna like the old ones then. Because
Yeah.
maybe he would. I don't know. But anyway,
Maybe.
I got some friendship evaluating to do. That's for sure. Yeah. How about you, Dusty? You watching anything? You're the watcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched a couple movies this week. I watched One Ranger, that trailer I sent you guys. I thought this was amazingly cheesy. It's actually not cheesy at all. It's a pretty good nod to the old Texas Ranger like motto, one riot, one ranger. So it's action filled. It's a fun movie. I actually enjoyed it.
Cause the eyes of the
so that movie's
Ranger
already out
come.
then.
Yeah, it's out.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was. I know I watched the trailer the other day, but I didn't realize it was out.
And
yet.
I watched a movie called The Artifice Girl. Have you guys seen?
That
This
actually
is-
popped up on my feed. I watched the trailer for it, I think, or I read the synopsis.
Basically no cast. It's basically 3 or 4 characters in a room talking most of the movie. It's 3 acts. It's about artificial intelligence. The first 2 acts are amazing, and the third act is just a real letdown. Good movie, just it fell flat at the end, and it didn't feel, I don't know, it wasn't fulfilling, I guess, in the way that you thought maybe it would lead up. But they pull you in the first act, and then the second act explains a little bit more, and then the third act is the conclusion, and it wasn't there.
It's got a
Yeah.
6.6.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good watch. It just it felt like it was gonna end better than it did.
Yeah, it didn't stick the landing.
I don't know, like the girl that's the artificial. Actually, no, I can't. No, I can't. Never mind. If you no.
I'm probably
I
never
don't
gonna watch
wanna-
it, but I already know what it's about.
Okay. Well,
They use, like, AI
in
to
the
catch
third act,
predators,
in the
right?
third act, she's basically in a robotic suit. Like she has a robotic suit,
Mhm.
so she actually looks like a real person, and she's trying to act like a real person, but it feels fake.
That's
She
fair.
felt more real as an AI than she did as a human. It was kind of weird.
That
in
is
that way,
weird.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
I watched
And,
Renfield.
yeah. Oh yeah, how was that? I haven't watched that yet.
I thought it was great. I liked it a lot. I don't know if
What
we're
did you
gonna
watch?
Renfield.
Oh.
I don't know. We haven't done our schedule for this
It
month
was
yet, so maybe we could add
Nicolas
that.
Cage. Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
really
good
liked
movie.
it. I thought it was fun as fuck.
I was just reading an article
also
about how
watched-
they had to grind his teeth down or something for the. I don't know, bro. The articles I find sometimes is like
Yeah, I
don't
can't
know
be
what's
reading
real or
articles
fake
anymore.
anymore.
I watched one.
Just can't. You just never know.
No, yeah, I know. I saw one today about like, because I used Edge, right? We're Edge users now. We're edging.
Yeah.
And like the homepage of Edge is like basically the tabloid section at a supermarket.
Yep.
And I saw one that was like, finally some positive news for Yellowstone fans. And I was like, oh, what's going on here? And it was just like 1883 is now going to be airing on Paramount Network instead of just streaming. I was like, okay.
Wow.
I thought it was going to be something like
1883.
kinda
Oh yeah,
cool.
that was a good one.
Yeah, when that came out, that was only streaming on Paramount Plus.
Huh.
So now it's actually going
I
to be
did not know
airing.
that.
Yeah. So I got baited. But yeah, no, Renfield was fun as shit. Maybe Nicolas Cage's teeth had to get grinded down for the prosthetic. I don't know.
That's what I was reading, but yeah, I just don't know if it was true or not.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd be going that far, but yeah, no, I thought it was
He'd
fun.
go that far, but I don't know. If
And it doesn't have great reviews
He's
either.
dedicated to his art.
It
I'm
does-
looking forward to seeing it. I just haven't got around to it yet.
It was good. It was like a
I'm
cool.
sick of reviews. I'm sick of critics. They don't know shit, obviously.
Yeah, no, they don't ever. But
Hello, pot.
no, I mean we're not critics. We're not critics.
We're
We
not
are-
critics. No.
We are regular average Joes
Mhm.
who are.
That's right. We're for the people.
Yeah, we're letting the people know if something's worth watching because there's a lot of fucking stuff out there.
Yep.
A lot of fucking.
Only one here that's a
subscription-
snob is a Dan.
Wha-
Is Dan rather.
That's fucked up.
It's dad.
Me and
Fucking
yeah, a Dan is a snob. That's the new snob.
Ah,
It's
damn.
call someone a Dan.
Yep.
This guy's a fucking Dan.
This guy's a
Mhm.
fucking Dan. I
Yep.
knew it. I knew it all along.
I find that offensive. I just want you to know.
You should.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, no, I thought it was really good. I don't know.
I'll
It
check
was
it
fun.
out. I like vampires. I like Nick Cage.
It's just like a fun take on the Dracula lore. Like he's
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
they base him off of like the classic Dracula, the one played by what's his name?
No clue. Probably haven't seen the
No,
original
it's,
Dracula.
you haven't because it's black and white. But like it's who Dracula. it's like what Dracula is based off of, like the classic slicked back hair and the fucking, the cape and the fucking tablet.
He got a lot of
Bela
bitches?
Lugosi, the Bela Lugosi Dracula. Yeah,
He got a lot of bitches. Or
he
no?
would get a lot of bitches, yeah, because he would woo them with his Dracula power.
Nice.
Yeah, and Renfield plays his familiar, but he's in like he's in like this support group for people in toxic relationships. It's like a support group for people who are codependent. So it's really funny.
So it's kind of like What We Do in the Shadows. It's like that kind of vibe, or no?
No. So anytime like the Renfield stuff is like action comedy, and then the Dracula part of it is like kind of like a horror almost.
Oh.
So it's a little bit of a mashup, but it was good. I thought it was good. Maybe we'll add it to the list and do it for this month if you guys plan on watching it. But
yeah.
But yeah, that was enjoyable. And still backed up on all my fucking shows. But
I told you I cleared out my entire. Actually, my tracked account like got deleted or something, and now I have to make a whole new.
No, you didn't tell me that. I think I would. I don't know. I might just like give up on life if that happened to me. That's all.
Really. I don't think it's that serious. Like, because I had already cleared it out anyway. Because I had too much random shit that I wasn't actually watching.
Yeah, but your watch history—that's the thing.
Yeah, I know what I watched though. Come on.
I don't know, Marvin. When you're an OCD like me, you like seeing that little green check mark come up next to
It's great. It's great now. I got one thing on my watch list, which is shrinking. It's like
all right.
You know what I'm saying?
Fine.
Very minimal lists.
Sure. Yeah, no. I like lists. I'm a big list guy. I don't know if you guys know that about me, but yeah. Yeah, I guess let's just jump into the news because there's a lot of it that I know of. So let's not waste any time. Dusty, what do you got for us this week?
Yeah, there's a lot.
There is one thing actually. Real quick.
There he goes.
No, I'm not.
He's back.
I'm not toe stepping.
I'm back, baby. Harsh Language Podcast.
I'm not toe stepping. You've already reported on the issues going on with Blade, and I'm sure you're going to report tonight about the writer's strike.
Yeah, I was just about to start about it because you didn't report on it last week.
No, I didn't because I actually didn't know it was happening when we recorded last week. However,
we also have to issue a correction.
Because of the writer's strike, obviously Blade is getting suspended. That's fine. I'm sure you're going to talk about that. However, I didn't realize this because I don't know if you ever reported on this when the movie was going through its tumultuous pre-production, that they brought in Nick Pizzolatto to write the script. And he's the writer of season 1 of True Detective and all of them really. He's the creator of True Detective.
Oh, shit. Nice.
So,
it's right here in the news. Yeah.
Oh, you are going to do it today. That's new news? Okay, go ahead then. I'll let it go.
Well, I mean, I wasn't here last week to talk about it. You did talk about some news.
Yeah, I was just
how do you think about,
you were talking about something.
The news section? It was pretty bad.
I was gossiping.
It was all right. You were talking about
it wasn't bad.
What was it?
Our news was terrible.
Oh, we'll come back to that. So
we had like this. I think this happened.
No,
I saw something.
It wasn't bad. Dan had some good news. There was some stuff there.
Dan had good news.
I knew he was going to shit on Snyder, though. I knew that was coming.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, the Writers Guild of America, they've authorized a strike starting at midnight. I think that was like the day before you were supposed to record, so it just happened. It might have been the day of recording.
Workers rise up.
Last Monday.
That's what I always say.
It's the first WGA strike in 15 years. The last work stoppage was in November of 2007, and it lasted 100 fucking days, guys.
Oh, that's a lot of time in
I remember that.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I guess the primary sticking points are mandatory staffing and duration of employment. Guild proposals that would require a company to staff a show with a certain number of writers for a special period of time, whether needed or not. This is, something that they're talking about, I guess, in the strike.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people involved in the strike. Shows affected. Late night shows are immediately affected. Obviously, shows like Colbert or
are they in shambles? Like
all the comedy, like Saturday Night Live, they're not. They got nothing because they got no writers.
Are they Are they still doing the shows that you know of? Like they're still doing it nightly?
I think
nah, we can't do this, bro. We can't even.
Well, no, they're probably
this is gonna be trash without the writers.
Well, you got to remember those shows rely on a lot of shows. A lot
And
of shows
SNL this
rely
weekend
on
and that one.
weekly real-time writers, like
Right.
weekly real-time stuff. Like SNL, like they're writing their episodes each week. Like
Yeah.
obviously the sketches they exist for a long period before that, but like the final
Yeah.
leading up to the Saturday is like they're writing, putting the finishing touches on things. Then they have a rehearsal,
Yeah.
and then they do the show. And a lot of late night shows are like that too. So yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading
Shows
about
where
like
there's. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Shows where the script's already written, or movies where the script's written, are unaffected.
Right.
So, like, if something like Yellowstone were to come back and start filming, so they can
Ooh.
end it finally.
Supposedly supposed to air in November.
That's probably already. Well, I don't think it. Well, they still need to film the second half.
Yeah, they haven't filmed it, but it's planned to air in November. It's all written, apparently,
Damn.
according to Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah, it's all been written. They've been having scheduling issues with
Yep, the prima donna.
Costner, but
Apparently,
yeah,
my aunt told me
Scumbag.
So a lot of this was according to I don't know what outlets or whatever. But his wife was like one of the biggest issues in this whole debacle. Like she's the one that was complaining about his schedule, and she's the one
Wow.
that wanted him to like quit the show or whatever. Well, now apparently she's divorcing him. My aunt was like, "What a bitch."
Yep.
Anyway,
They basically announced those on the same day. They announced like the day after it was announced he was getting divorced. It was also announced by Paramount officially that they would be the last season of Yellowstone.
oh, so this
Damn,
is the last
Yellowstone
season.
as we know it.
Season 5 will be. Now they're still doing the McConaughey show,
Ooh.
and they may use characters from Yellowstone. So I don't know, who knows, but we're getting off track a little bit here. Back to the strike. It's about stagnating pay versus inflation as well. Apparently, the Screen Actors Guild and the Directors Actors Guild can cross the picket lines, but Teamsters will not. The I guess it's the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers is who they're fighting. So the strikes we had in 81, 85, 88, and 07. So it's been a little while. But yeah, a lot of names down there. Wire creator David Simon's 25-year deal with the HBO has been suspended because he's been a very vocal guy about the picketing, and he was down there on the picket line. So HBO gave him a call and said, "Yeah, we're suspending your contract. You've been with us 25 years, making stories like The Wire and other amazing shows, but can't be having that."
Can't be wanting workers'
Jason-
rights.
Can't
Jason
be. Yeah.
Sudeikis and Coach Beard were down there too. They were talking about it. I think Jason said something along the lines of, when this whole streaming thing started, they were like, hold on. We don't know if it's going to take off. So let's refrain a bit. And he's like, here we are now. And it's obviously working and it's making money. So it's time to come off some of that money for, the people that are actually doing some of the work. You're making profit. It's clear. So let's start opening the tap, downstream a little bit more.
Yeah.
They want it for like royalties and shit like that, right? Like, and better pay or that's some of their demands.
Yeah, it's just for the writers, it's just about getting proper compensation for their actual ideas.
Well, because you gotta understand
you can
too.
steal ideas pretty easily. So.
Well, you gotta understand, if I sit here and write a script or a screenplay or something like that, and I go to sell it, like I no longer own it after that. Like the movie studio becomes the ownership, and then they decide like whether they scrap it or if it goes forward or whatever. So in that sense, like from a creative sense, I get it, and it's similar to what happened in the comic book industry. Marvin, we've watched the documentary on Siegel and Schuster, the guys who made Superman. Like their fight for their right for proper pay for creating like the first superhero actually snowballed into the industry changing and like creator rights becoming a thing. So like in a lot of industries that's not really a thing, right? And Charlie Day was actually, I was just watching the Sunny podcast yesterday, and they were talking about the two movies that they're in. Blackberry is a movie that what's his name is in, the guy who plays Dennis. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. And Charlie is in that movie, Fool something that just the trailer just came out for.
All right, yeah.
And he wrote and directed it. but he was talking about how like it's something that he was thinking of for a really long time, and they asked him like if he created it, like if he decided he wanted to write and direct something and then created the story, or if he wrote the story and then decided he wanted to write and direct it. And he was like, well, no, this is like a passion project of mine that I've been working on for like a decade. And then finally, when it came down to it, I was like, well, I don't really trust anybody else to do it the way that I want to do it, so I guess I'll just direct it. And, you know, a lot of writers don't have that kind of leeway because they're not industry
Correct.
people.
Yep.
So, like,
Right.
they don't really, they make something and then that's that. Make a couple bucks and it's over with, you know?
Yeah.
Especially for show writers. I mean,
Yeah.
For show writers, you have several script writers, and it's just like, shut up and write, or we'll go get somebody else from the. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where,
Do
like,
you think,
Go ahead.
I was reading about them going, while they're on this strike, they're trying to do like AIs writing scripts, and then once the strike is done, having the writers come back in and
Yeah, that's
refine.
the dumbest shit I've ever heard. There's multiple studios who are currently playing with the idea of AI.
They're
like,
trying
writing
that,
scripts.
right? That sounds awful.
Yeah, because that eliminates the manpower. If they could make money without having to pay anything, forget about it.
Yeah.
But the thing is that like they already do shit like that. Like right now, we're at a point where everything that's made is almost like done in like a fucking like board meeting. It's not like there's a lot of stuff that's like not creative or doesn't feel creative. I think Scream's probably a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, well, we're not going to deviate outside of like the fucking cookie cutter Scream thing. We barely need a story. We only need like a killer, some kills, a motivation, a reveal, and a fucking Ghostface costume. And then everything else doesn't matter. And that's how like movies and stuff are made these days.
Pretty much. Greedy fucks. Sorry.
Yeah, it's already affected Marvel long term.
Really?
Yep. Well, Blade's been shut down and Daredevil's been shut down.
Damn, Daredevil.
Yep, Daredevil's been shut down too. Speaking of,
We're in shambles.
Quick news on that. Finn Jones, I guess, posted on Instagram, tagged himself in Brooklyn, New York, and he was wearing his Iron Fist jacket, his Danny Rand jacket. So,
oh God, get it! No.
Might bring back all the defenders. Ritter's already pretty much all but confirmed that she's going to be in it.
Please don't bring him back. He was so bad, bro.
Yeah, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Danny Rand and Daredevil, the Defenders all together in the show might be a plausible scenario.
I think
another season or like a combined.
Well, it's just going to be the new Daredevil show. They're all going to be in it though. Like,
okay, I missed that part. Okay.
Yeah, I think the writer's strike will be a good thing for Marvel, hopefully, because they're forced to suspend some projects, and maybe they could just kind of like slow shit down a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they have to now.
No, I know. That's why I'm saying I think it'll be a good thing because they can't actually make the things that they were planning on making. And one of the biggest problems I think lately, and we've agreed, is that it's just like constant output. So now that they're forced to slow down, they could only release some of the stuff that they've been like, they've already like capped, you know, the Marvels, for instance. That's the project that's like pretty much done. They're probably editing it and shit still. So like, maybe they're going to be forced to sort of like stretch out their releases a little bit, which will give them time to kind of sit back down with something, maybe and be like, maybe this could use a few edits more. Like, I don't know, maybe it'll be a good thing.
I think it will. They'll be forced to choose, maybe, you know, if they have to pay writers more.
Yeah. Oh,
maybe they'll have less writers and they'll be forced to choose like good quality stuff.
Yeah. Oh, we can't release 100 things this year.
This thing goes for 100 days. It's gonna fuck everything. Like, it's gonna be like a COVID reboot.
Yeah,
basically.
Oh no! So we're gonna go through another mini drought.
Another drought of nothing, and then it'll all like just bombardment.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll hold on to it because a lot of those companies held on to some of their movies before releasing them. You know, they were ready, they never came out.
Right.
Anyhow, got some new trailers. Did you guys see the Twisted Metal teaser?
Oh shit! I did not.
Movie.
I didn't.
It's gonna premiere on
Peacock fuck that
on
one
July
no
27th, starring Anthony Mackie. He is tasked with driving across the desolate country to save somebody or get some life-saving thing. I forget, but it's just a teaser. Sweet Tooth is in there too, though. Looks like it might be fun.
I saw the
yeah,
funniest TikTok with Anthony Mackie. I don't know
Really?
I don't remember if I sent it to you, Marvin, but
Was it from the Black Mirror episode?
No, it was the guys.
Oh, okay.
It was the scene from Avengers Civil War where they're all in the boardroom after what's his name? General Ross like told them that they're making the Sokovia Accords and that they got to adhere to it. And they're all just like really like disappointed and shit. But the tag was like when their boy Falcon tells them about that time he got fucking smacked by B Rabbit, and it's like the freestyle from 8 Mile, and it's them all just like really upset with him. It was so funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, Twisted Metal, July 27th.
Didn't see that.
That's sick. They
Don't-
can't. It's like really. I feel like it's really hard to fuck up Twisted Metal. So I got good hopes for that.
It looks like it's gonna be a fun little.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
see.
not one I care about.
Wow.
But how about Meg 2: The Trench, Dan? We got a trailer for that too.
Oh,
No, I don't
God.
know.
Jason
Oh.
Statham is at it again. They're fighting the Megalodon. Actually, 3 of them, I think, in the trailer, and one of them
Oh,
is the
shit.
alpha of alphas. Like apparently, all these creatures from this like deep
Mariana's
trench,
Trench.
or whatever. They start coming out, and so there's like lizards and.
I watched the
sharks.
first one. The first one's like
Wow.
not good, but it's not bad either. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, well, in the,
I don't think I've
in
seen
the
it.
second one, everything escapes, and it's everything's loose, killing everybody.
Damn.
No holding back this time.
At least the first one's like somewhat grounded in reality, because basically the first one they're like a team of scientists and they're exploring the Marianas Trench, which, if you don't know, Marvin, is like the deepest known point on Earth's surface under
Okay,
the water, and obviously the ocean is very deep at certain points, and it's so deep that we can't even really like get down there because the pressure is just too much.
That's nuts.
So there's probably all sorts of life that have been unyet discovered to us. In fact, when there was that like tsunami years ago in like Japan, I think it was, or something like that, there was all these crazy fucking no-eyed fucking creatures that were washing up because they were coming from the deep ocean.
Yeah, I bet they were still getting eaten in a fucking mukbang video though. You seen the shit that people eat in these fucking videos? They're eating all kinds of crazy shit.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
But there's like, so there's it's very conspiratorial, like flat Earth nonsense for the most part. But there is a question as to whether or not the megalodon is extinct or not, and the megalodon, Marvin, is the ancestor of the great white. So,
Oh my god.
basically a prehistoric giant great white. And people still find I have a megalodon tooth like fossilized. It's like 3 to 4 inches long. It's crazy. So there are people who speculate, well, like there's so much fucking unexplored shit.
Who knows?
Like,
Hey.
who the fuck knows? So that's what the movie kind of like plays off of.
Yeah.
But in the movie there's like this like membrane almost in the Marianas Trench
Uh-huh.
of like it was like an air pocket or something. So the animals down there like couldn't breach it, and then then they do. And
Oh, it's like the seal has been broken. and
Yeah,
It's like its own
okay, I see.
biome, like the thing in
Yeah.
That's
Colin,
hilarious.
which is
Yeah.
The underworld.
That movie, is that like a sci-fi movie, like the Sci-Fi
I think so.
Network, or did it
Oh
actually
no,
go to theaters?
that was in theaters. I remember it was The Meg.
When did these
That
movies
one
start
made-
going to theaters
that
and
one-
not directly to Sci-Fi, the fucking network? Remember Sci-Fi used to have all that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, they still do it. I mean, the Meg 2 kind of does feel like it's getting Sharknado-ish or close to it. But
Yeah.
I think the Meg 1 was originally planned to be a theatrical release, but I think it came out like during COVID, so it may have been.
No,
a
the Meg was
digital
old.
release.
It's older than that.
Oh, maybe to like Peacock or one of these other
No, the Meg was
Oh, yeah,
in
I guess so.
theaters.
Yeah, it'd have to be.
TiVo and all that
The
weird
Meg
shit.
was 2018.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, that was in theaters. I'm almost sure. Maybe I'll watch that tonight. That's a fun.
Crazy.
It's a fun movie.
Everything is going to theaters now, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah, the fun's over.
I feel like
boys.
it used to be different. Like
Nah.
theater stuff. Was it always like that? Like shitty movies going to theaters?
Mhm.
Maybe I didn't go to the movies a lot, and that's why. But I feel like there used to be higher quality movies that only made it to the theater, and the other shit went straight to fucking sci-fi or whatever the fuck.
Straight to DVD.
Straight to
Yeah,
DVD.
straight to DVD or straight to VHS.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess
That's
it
what it
depends. I
was.
don't know.
I did see the trailer for Oppenheimer, the new trailer, the full.
Yeah,
Oh
that came
shit!
out.
I can't
Yeah, it
wait.
looks
bro.
good.
I need to watch
Yeah.
that.
That movie's gonna be fucking good.
I think it
That's
came
another
out today.
3-hour joint.
I hope though.
Plus,
I don't. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's gonna be like strap in. That's the Christopher
it's gonna
Nolan.
be good. I mean, it's
Forget it.
Christopher Nolan, so I could.
Ah,
His don't feel 3 hours to me.
that last movie wasn't so good. Let's not
What?
forget about that one
What one?
with our boy fucking Percy Jackson, whatever the fuck his name is.
What the fuck? What movie?
Fucking what's this? What was the last one, Dusty? We watched it with
last-
Owen. The last Christopher Nolan movie.
Oh, was
Tenet.
it the Lighthouse movie?
No, Tenet.
Oh,
Tenet.
bro, Tenet was good. Come
I
on.
I hated.
You didn't
Tenet.
like it though, but I liked it.
No, I did not like Tenet.
It was all right.
I had my boy.
It's John David Washington. I don't know why I called him Percy Jackson.
Yeah, you threw me in a head.
Percy
loop. That one, I
Jackson,
was
isn't
like,
that
wait,
the fucking
there was a
like,
kid who played Percy
the
Jackson
son of Aquaman or whatever the fuck?
in the movies, but
Yeah.
there's
No,
a
that's
new
Percy.
Jackson.
No,
Who the
Marvin's
fuck is
right.
this guy
Percy
talking
Jackson's
about?
like the Disney guy. He's like the son of Poseidon
What
or
am I
something.
thinking of?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Poseidon.
what I'm thinking of. Not Aquaman.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson was in Tenet too. I didn't like Tenet. But no, Oppenheimer looks good. I'm worried. I'm a little worried. I hope it's not. And I don't think it will be because it's Christopher Nolan. So he's gonna have some sort of. I want to know what a straightforward Christopher Nolan movie's like again, because like he's done a lot of movies that like really kind of like fuck with your head, like Interstellar and Tenet and fucking the other one with the fucking dreidel or whatever the fuck. This is just like a pretty straightforward
Inception, right?
Inception.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Inception.
This
Yeah.
could be a head fuck movie.
It probably will be, but
Could
I'm
it?
like, but I'm trying to think is like how are you gonna put that into like the creation of the nuclear bomb? And also, I hope that it's not like this American exceptionalism fucking bullshit, because that's how the trailer kind of makes it out to be. It's like we're the
We had
greatest
to do it.
nation on earth. Yeah, that's
We
how
just
it
had
seems.
to do it.
But the guy Oppenheimer, like he was just doing science and like it happened to
Yeah.
be used for like nonsense. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But it's Christopher Nolan, so it's probably not going to be bad. I mean, Tenet wasn't bad. I just didn't really care for it all that much. On like in the pantheon of Christopher Nolan movies, it's like kind of in the middle for me. Is how I feel about it.
For Tenet.
And I hate fucking what's his name, Washington. We've already discussed this. Oh, good old One Face McGee.
Yep.
We have a new
Botox face.
we have a new leader in the betting odds for James Bond.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. Who's that?
Yeah. James Norton.
Oh god.
What?
Ladbrokes has updated their list of Bond favorites, adding James Norton to the list. He's a 9
What's his height?
for odds. Other people on the list include Aaron Taylor Johnson at 5-2, Henry Cavill at 11-4, Reggie Jean Page at 9-1, Jack Lowden at 10-1, Tom Hardy at 10-1, and Idris Elba at 12-1.
Idris Elba's never gonna get picked.
Oh, never mind. I
Those
don't
are
know
the
this
current
guy.
favorites. Yeah, British television stuff.
I
I was
thought you were
thinking
talking
James
about-
Corden. Yeah.
I was
No,
thinking of
James
Edward Norton.
Oh
No,
no.
he was it's a real popular show over there.
He's got to be
on BBC.
British, Marvin.
Yeah, he's gotta
Does
be
he?
British. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Has to be.
Oh, he's dating my girl Imogen Poots. Okay,
Yeah.
good for him.
So
Nah,
yeah, so
stop the presses.
No announcement yet, but they're
It
still
should
looking.
be Henry Cavill. I just thought I don't know why I never thought of him as an option, but it should be Henry Cavill. He'd be good.
Yeah, he did good. What was that? He was in a.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Was that the one where he played the American spy and the American actor played the British spy?
That was a great
pretty
movie.
good. It was a fun one.
That was what's his name? That's your boy.
Good boy.
I'm terrible with names.
It was
Me too.
no Guy Ritchie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that was a great
That's
movie.
right.
I like that
that's
movie a
fun
lot.
one. Yeah. Mhm.
But no, I think he'd be a good James Bond. My number one choice, fantasy draft, Clive Owen, but he's already said many times he's not going to do it. We talked about this when we talked about
he's
Children of
man.
Men.
a little older.
Now
He's
he's
too
apparently
old
older.
now.
they're looking. Apparently they're looking for an older guy.
Well, I don't know. He would have been perfect. I know. He doesn't have any interest in doing it. My other dream cast would be Idris Elba because he's great. He's got the fucking swag. He could beat the fuck out of you. Go watch the show Luther and you'll see. Like
That's right. He basically, yeah.
Marvin, you finished Luther, right? I can't remember the whole thing.
I finished Luther and I watched the movie.
Well, I know you watched the movie. I just
covered the movie.
I couldn't remember if you finished the actual series. He'd be a great James Bond. I don't know if weird
he would.
fucking white people could deal with like a black James Bond because it'd be like the fucking Little Mermaid argument. Like, James Bond's historically white. It's like, not really. He's a fantasy character that never ages. Like, what?
Yeah.
But I think he would be perfect. But yeah, no, I think Henry Cavill would be good too now that I'm thinking about it. What happened to Hiddleston? He was like a front runner for a while.
I don't know.
See, the thing is like Daniel Craig.
It's just higher odds.
Back in the day, Bond was like a suave, like lady killer. Daniel Craig in those movies turned him into a more like hulking brute of a man,
Right.
like action focused James Bond. The older movies weren't really that, you know.
Yeah, because like the Pierce and the other guys that did it, they were. I mean, I don't know.
Pierce Brosnan.
This is why they want an older guy. And when I say older guy, they don't want somebody in their 20s or 30s that can carry it for 2 decades. They want somebody probably in their 40s, maybe has slight gray shadow, been in the game for a while, still looks good, you know, like a Tom Cruise type person, but he's like 50. So that's ridiculous.
Right.
It should just be a British actor. I don't like.
Yeah, absolutely. But somebody like that. So I don't know. But anyhow.
Yeah. Like when
Angel Has Fallen director Rick Roman Waugh, Waugh, I don't know. Will be helming Sly Stallone's A Cliffhanger sequel.
Oh God!
It's going to be produced by Original Film, the production company behind the Fast and Furious franchise. He is coming back to play the same character. I don't know. Seeing like a roided up 70-year-old guy hanging off a rope.
This is what I'm talking about.
It was good in the 90s. It was good in the 90s, but I'm not buying this one.
Weren't you hyped for the fucking arm wrestling fucking remake or reboot or whatever?
Over the top? Yeah.
Dude, this is what I'm talking about with like the writers.
It's a great movie.
This is how movies are made, Marvin.
Both
right?
Movies,
it's like a bunch of dudes in suits sitting in a board meeting, and they're like, all right, what could we remake?
Right.
How about Cliffhanger? Well, you know what?
Something that I think Sly's property. I think he's the one that put this together. But
he's gonna fucking redo all his properties now to get back at fucking Rocky, the Rocky folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Bianculli is the writer. There's no dates on this thing, and given that we're currently on a strike, there will be no date for a long time.
Yep.
But he did the Hunters show on Amazon Prime about the Nazi hunters.
Speaking of hunters, did you guys see the image that was released of Craven?
The what?
No, I didn't.
Oh, there was a picture released of Craven the Hunter.
Oh.
From the film.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah.
I don't know if it was real or fake or not, but it might have been fake actually. Now that I'm Googling it, I don't know.
Really?
He looked
Lionsgate
sick.
Announced it's making a Twilight TV series.
Oh, good.
Oh my God.
Yep.
All the 30-something.
Whether the series. Yeah. I'm not clear whether it's going to be a direct retelling of the original 4 novels or where it will fall in the pantheon of Twilight. But yeah, you know, since Harry Potter's doing it, everybody's. I guess once a decade hits, it's free to reboot. It's
so stupid.
Yeah.
So,
all the 30-something women who are obsessed with toxic love now are gonna get hyped.
And we got some Witcher updates for Dan.
Oh boy,
we got a teaser trailer. We got dates. We got a new poster and some stills. All that stuff. I'm sure Dan's really gonna go Google that right now and look it up.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yep.
This is the final season for Henry Cavill. Volume 1 comes out June 29th. They're splitting it up. Volume 2, July 27th. So you got to pay for that Netflix subscription for a couple months to get it.
Not me.
Yeah. Screens for. Oh, we're back.
Yeah, we're back. Okay. Okay, and I guess WB. Not a lot of WB news. Let's see. There was a story from the Hollywood Reporter stating that Irish actress Dominique McElligott has been cast as Poison Ivy. James Gunn shot that down on Twitter. Not a real headline, I think is what he said.
Okay. Good old James Gunn. Hey, speaking of James Gunn, did you pick up the news that dropped today, apparently? His little Superman announcement?
You talking about crypto?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that was yesterday,
What happened?
I think. But
In the comic book,
he did
Superman
an interview.
has a dog named Crypto.
Yeah, he's got a dog. Yeah.
And he confirmed it for being in the movie.
Yeah,
Nice.
see. That was an interview with the Toronto Sun. But yeah, he said he was interviewing the guy. Let me scroll if I can say. Find it. Oh, he said something about bringing a dog in to play Crypto, and he said, "Look like there's going to be a character named Crypto." And he said, "Yes, that's a scoop." So yeah,
he said he wanted Chris Pratt to do the voice, and then somebody, one of the news people was like, he's like, "Did you just confirm Crypto?" And he's like, "Yep, you got the scoop," or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think last month we reported that Jen Ortega was said to be in talks to star as Winona Ryder's Lydia Dietz.
Yep,
from
that
the
got
original
confirmed.
Beetlejuice film. That is actually confirmed. The movie is happening. Burton and Keaton have yet to finalize their deals to return, but are in talks. I think this is they tried to do.
It's funny because it's just like just
Beetlejuice goes. They tried to do like a Beetlejuice goes to Hawaii back in the 80s or the 90s after the second one came out, and then that
There was
flopped.
never a second one.
I know. That was supposed to be the second one. It never happened.
Oh, you said you meant after the first one came
after
out.
the first one, yeah. It was supposed to be the second one, and it never happened, and they've been trying to get it going ever since. But
do you remember the
it's finally
Beetlejuice
happening.
cartoon?
Yeah.
That shit was so good.
Yeah.
That was like an old Saturday morning cartoon. It was great. Have you seen the movie Beetlejuice,
Yeah.
Marvin?
I actually have.
I think
All
Dusty plans to take you on the Tim Burton journey this month.
I like Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Oh, Batman, right?
Okay, so
I think so.
on to Disney. I guess
Look around for that little motherfucker. Go ahead.
This was a wild one. I don't know if anything will come of it, but Boy Meets World star Matthew Lawrence made some astonishing accusations on his Brotherly Love podcast with his two brothers, Andrew and Joey. He reflected back about a high-profile Hollywood director that asked him to take nude photos in exchange for a potential Marvel role.
Wow.
Who was it?
So yeah, he was sent to. He didn't say.
Oh.
He did not say. He was sent to a room to talk about a role and was asked. These are in his words.
Who was this?
There's been many. Boy Meets World star Matthew Lawrence. He said there's been many times in my life where I've been propositioned to get a huge role. I've lost my own agency because I went to the hotel room, which I can't believe they would send me to, of a very prominent Oscar award-winning director who showed up in his robe, asked me to take my clothes off, and he said he needed to take Polaroids of me. And that if I did X, Y, and Z, I would be the next Marvel character. I didn't do that. And my agency fired me because I left the director's room and didn't do what he asked.
Wow.
I believe it.
That's a bold accusation. I believe
I would
it too.
expose him.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, that's the thing is.
That's the weird part.
Drop the names. Like if you don't want to hurt somebody's career, fuck that guy's career. Fuck that guy. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I don't think that's what it is. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's the fact that even though we are in a time, you know what? There's been this thing going on. We don't talk politics that often or culture shit, but political culture war stuff. There's obviously this the current, as we know, the right has like zero substantive policy to talk about or anything that helps like the working class or anything like that. So they default to talking about culture war stuff, and their latest thing is like, trans people and like trans rights, and that's all they fucking talk about. If you put on Fox News at any given time, it's just a rant about trans people. So much so, my dad, who's really not a piece of shit, I've told you about my dad before. He is like a conservative, but he's not like a piece of shit conservative. Even he's like, all the left talks about is like trans people. He's like, I just don't want to, I don't care what you do. Just don't shove it down my throat. I'm like, no. I'm like, nobody on the left talks about it. You're the people that talk about it because you have nothing else to talk about. So anyway, there's been like this latest thing on like all the podcasts, Ben Shapiro, all these fucking people. They're talking about how there is a rise in trans people among Gen Z and just LGBT in general, right?
Right.
And they're their argument is that, well, no, this is clearly just like a fad. Like it's trendy to be in the LGBT community or be trans.
Wow.
And a bunch of other people are showing like, well, there's also been a rise in like left-handed people among like Gen Z and millennials. So what does that tell you? Is it trendy to be left-handed? And the point of the argument is that like we're living in a time where people feel more comfortable now they feel safer to come out as either gay or trans or whatever, whereas maybe even 10 years ago, society didn't handle it as good as it does now. And it's actually the same thing with left-handed people. Left-handed people used to be like witches and shit. Like you'd get burned for being left-handed. So the whole point is that nobody's comparing that to being left-handed, but the comparison is that like as things become more acceptable, of course more people will be more open to just coming out as whatever that is, right? So the point of me bringing that up is that the same thing is happening with like sexual assault and like, with the Me Too movement and like a lot of these Hollywood executives going to fucking jail and shit, or not a lot, but Harvey Weinstein in particular. But so we are living in a time where like it is becoming safer for actors to expose very powerful people in the industry. However, I don't think it's still that doable, because I think if I had to guess, and this is maybe a wild accusation, but I feel like a majority of people within Hollywood are like scumbags, like sexual assault scumbags. Because I just saw a video the other day. It was like some dude reacting to moments of Justin Bieber. It was actually a funny video. It's like, it was some dude who makes these. You might have seen him, Marvin. He goes back and watches the movies, and he's like, it's him making all the faces at how racist old movies are. Oh, you don't watch TikTok that often. But the whole point of the video was like, why does Justin Bieber thinks he's black or something like that? And then he was watching videos of like Justin Bieber being like treated pretty inappropriately by a lot of people, like Ellen DeGeneres, fucking late night hosts, like talking about how cute he is as a kid and like, oh, take your shirt off. And like, and every time Justin Bieber's like visually like, dude, that makes me uncomfortable. And he's like said it, but it's because he's on TV. It's like, he's uncomfortable. It's a joke.
Yeah. Yep.
So then the guy was like, oh, no wonder why he wants to be black, because nobody does that to black people. I think was what he was saying. Like, you wouldn't do that too. He's like, we'll take you. And he's like, don't worry. But yeah, I feel like just a lot of people are fucking like wildly inappropriate. So that would be why he wouldn't want to come out and expose the person, because it's not going to go anywhere, and it'll probably just ruin his career at the end of the day. That's
true.
If you look back in hindsight, the Harvey Weinstein thing is crazy because people knew about it for years and years and years and years and just like let it happen. Fucking Seth MacFarlane at one year at the Oscars like made a joke about it in his like little monologue, and everybody laughed, and it was just like, oh, it was a big Oscar joke.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's fucked up. It's weird. It's it's, you hear about like the whole like Jeffrey Epstein thing, and then it's like how many people are just like slowly but surely getting like brought up in the same conversation. It just seems like similar thing with Hollywood. It's like it's just one big like, hey, let's just fuck kids and rape women party, especially if you're like powerful, because you think about it, the life of an actor for the most part, you grow up some fucking bumblefuck place, I don't know where, you move to Hollywood to try to like make it. And then all of a sudden you're sitting in front of an executive and they're like, hey, take your clothes off real quick. Let me take pictures of you.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't pay your fucking rent and this is your like one opportunity as you perceive it, like, of course you're going to do well. I mean, a lot of people would do that.
A lot of people would, yeah.
So it's fucked up. But yeah.
A lot of people do.
I would love to see these people get exposed, but I would understand why he would maybe not want to do it. And also like legality of like just accusing somebody publicly like that. Like you probably have to go through proper channels and stuff. For
sure, because they'll sue the fuck out of you.
Yeah. And you know what the funny thing is? It probably wasn't even a person involved with Marvel. It was probably just like a guy who has like connections in the business and was like, oh yeah, you want to be in Marvel?
Some rich guy that's like, he's acting like he has the fucking key to everything.
Well, he probably does. Because he's probably a big director. According to the story, he's probably just like a guy who's like connected. There was a thing too with Quentin Tarantino,
A
who's
high-profile, award-winning director is what
Yeah.
he said. I think Oscar-winning director. I don't know.
and coincidentally, I just saw
Oscar-nominated.
a Howard Stern clip on TikTok, and it was when he interviewed. It was an interview with him and Quentin Tarantino, and Quentin Tarantino is problematic for a lot of reasons, but this was one that I was surprised because I don't remember this, but he was like defending Roman Polanski, who was having sex with a 13-year-old,
Oh God.
and Tarantino was like, "Well, it's not rape; it was statutory rape." He's like, "Rape is way worse," and Howard was like,
oh my God.
"She was 13." He's like, "Yeah, but she kind of was like into it." And Howard was like,
What?
"Dude, like, what are you even saying, bro?" So, like, yeah,
Bro.
I don't know. And Woody Allen is another one. Again, I just
Oh,
saw
that guy's a fucking creep.
I just saw a video on TikTok of his conversation with Mia Farrow, and Mia Farrow was like crying, like, "How could you do this to her? Like, she's your who was it, his stepdaughter or something that he was like
Stepdaughter, yeah, I think
sexually
so.
assaulting." And yeah, like, and that dude just is still making movies, and he's still Woody Allen, and he's still very respected in the film industry because he's Woody Allen. And it's like anytime a Woody Allen movie comes, everybody's like, oh, it's fucking another Woody Allen classic. Like, how are these people still having jobs? And I don't know, it's crazy to me. So yeah, I totally believe that story, 100%. It's probably a high percentage of people in the industry that are fucked up.
I would believe that.
Mm-hmm. Because people are fucked up, right? That there's like people are fucked up in general, but then you take them and you put them in these positions where they're rich and powerful. Well, now the gloves are off because they have no limitations. That's why the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, you know, people are like, how could you fuck a kid? I don't know, but when you have that much fucking money and that much power, you could do literally anything. So you probably, I would imagine, get bored after a bit, and then these people, because they're sick fucks, they start to like explore the deepest, darkest fucking corners of their fucking psyche of like, ooh, what's it like to kill somebody? Now all of a sudden they're like in the movie fucking what are those movies? Whatever, those horror movies where people getting like traded and shit to be killed.
Fucking Hostel.
Yeah, Hostel. Yeah. Yeah, it's fucked up out there, boys.
It is. Fuck Hollywood. They're all sick.
Yep.
I mean, there's some all right ones out there.
I don't think they're all sick. I just think there is this like culture of a very specific thing that goes on, and like everybody knows about it, and for a long time nobody's done anything about it, and now obviously people are starting to kind of like take a stand against it, but I feel like it's still like there's a hesitancy to it because it's like,
I don't know that there's any more stand taking than there was before. I mean, there's always been reports and allegations ever since film industry started. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, now they're actually
it's like
starting to
only
get
if the
punished
person
for it.
gets like prosecuted is when there's, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's also hard because you got to have proof and shit. Like, how do you prove that a dude asked you to take pictures? So, you know, it's like,
yeah,
it's kind of a shitty situation.
yep.
Anyway, so there's my rant.
now
Sorry.
that the acquisition of Fox is final, 20th Century Studios, I believe is what it's called.
Oh,
under
okay.
Disney. John Landau confirmed that they are indeed working on a sequel to Alita Battle Angel.
Oh,
That was an interview with Screen Rant, I believe. We're working on it. We're talking to Robert Rodriguez and we're talking to Rosa Salazar, and all is good. I think they wanted to move ahead with it, but then the Disney acquisition of Fox kind of slowed that down a little bit. But now that that's all over, things are running smoothly, except for now we got a writer's fucking strike.
Yeah, so now,
The sequel's gonna come out a little bit later than they wanted. So
that movie was great.
that one. Yeah, it was a great movie. It's a fun one.
Speaking of Robert Rodriguez, did you see the his latest movie? Did you send that to us?
I don't know what's his latest.
Hypnotic, it's called. I think it's with Ben Affleck. I think you sent the trailer for it. Maybe I don't remember.
Probably. I don't remember if I saw that one or not. I don't know.
It's
I feel like I watched the
it's
trailer.
coming out in like 2 days.
It's not out yet. Oh, right. Okay. Then yeah.
A detective
Lots of
investigates a
trailers.
mystery involving his missing daughter and secret government program. But I watched the trailer and it didn't really look that good. But also, I'm a big fan of Robert Rodriguez, so like I have to see it.
This is a rumor. You guys did talk about casting a little bit. You just talked about Guardians of the Galaxy. We've got some news for that. Margot Robbie, rumored to play Sue Storm in the Invisible Woman.
Saw that.
The upcoming Fantastic Four movie. Paul Mescal, I think, is reported for the Human Torch, but somebody else is to. Jesus Christ, I didn't write his name down and I forgot.
Chris Evans.
No, not Chris Evans. Oh, and when you were talking last week, you were talking about Galactus, and you were talking about that stuff.
Yeah.
And you said you talked about his herald, and then you asked Marvin if he knew who that was, and Marvin obviously didn't know, and you said Silver Surfer. That may not actually be correct, Dan. My Time to Shine, who is a credible leaker, has reported that Terrax will likely be Galactus's herald in the upcoming Fantastic Four film.
That's fine, because that's assuming that Silver Surfer was once his herald and abandoned him. Because I have a feeling, I was talking to Ed about this yesterday, and after the conversation, I came up with the theory in my head, because we were talking about Guardians, because we both saw it on the same day, and we were just talking about it. And I was like, he's obviously been disappointed with the output, as I have recently. And I said, he doesn't think the Marvels looks good. And I was like, I think it looks all right. It could be fun. But we were just talking about the future of Marvel, and I was like, hey man, we got like Fantastic Four coming. We got a lot of heavy hitters. So like, assuming that the problem has been the lack of A-listers, like, there's more down the pike. And then we were talking about Fantastic Four and like maybe what I was like, I hope they don't come out of the gate with Galactus, which from all accounts, it seems like they are going to be doing, which is weird to me. Galactus is like the fucking end game villain, like bigger than fucking, so I don't know. That's weird. Might just be an introduction to him. However, I brought up the fact that they're doing the Silver Surfer thing, the special presentation. And I was like, I hope it's a origin story, like, hey, this is Norrin Rad. He's a scientist on Zen-La and sacrifices himself, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, I don't see how you could do a Silver Surfer solo movie and not do it that way. I was like, I could see you could do something where he's flashing back to his like life on Zen-La, and now his life as the Silver Surfer, just like zipping around the universe, finding planets for Galactus to consume. And then I thought about it post the conversation, and I was like, oh wait, like what if they just jump into this shit where, because at one point in the comics, Marvin, Silver Surfer gets banished to Earth, and that's when he actually like forms his relationship with the Fantastic Four. And he gets a new perspective on life because he like sees humanity and all this stuff, which he talks shit about constantly, rightfully so. But that now gives credence to that idea. Like he could just be on Earth already.
Right.
Like you would assume, you know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah.
What's the herald's name that you just said? I forget.
Terrax.
Terrax.
T-E-R-R-A-X. My Time to Shine also, I think, tweeted out today. It's done. Adam Driver is our Reed Richards. So that report is going around now.
Not confirmed, but
not confirmed by Marvel. But
okay.
Again, My Time to Shine is a known leaker spoiler with credible information.
Okay.
He's the one that said, Mr. Fantastic would be in Doctor Strange before any of that stuff happened. Also said Antonio Banderas might play Galactus.
Not yet. Not yet.
And another leaker, well-known leaker spoiler. Can we get some toast? These are great fucking screen names, by the way. Said that this, speaking of the Silver Surfer solo project, could either be a film or a Disney Plus show and not a special like Werewolf by Night. So reports said it's going to be a special. May not be accurate. We could get a full fucking movie or a Disney Plus show. Could be either one.
For a show.
With the writer's strike, we ain't getting shit right now. So.
Give me all the Surfer, baby.
Good luck.
Yep.
And I think this was last week to celebrate. Actually it was. Because Alien Day is 426 in tribute to LV 426. So 426 is Alien Day. To celebrate, Fede Alvarez shared a photo of a facehugger holding a clapperboard on his Twitter account. 20th Century Studios and Dingy could opt to give this a theatrical release, but right now it is still scheduled to come out on Hulu, just like Prey did. But
Cool.
yeah, it looks like they're in the works with his new movie.
Nice.
Production has started, or filming, I guess.
Okay.
And on that note, Sigourney Weaver talked about her potential in returning to the franchise. She said there are all kinds of younger actors taking this kind of role. And there was an Alien film that I really wanted to do with Neil Blomkamp, or Blomkamp, sorry. And we didn't get to do that, but you know, that ship has sailed. I'm very happy with doing what I'm doing. I put in my time and space, and a lot of fans were really upset that they didn't get to do that Neil Blomkamp Alien movie. But you know, Ridley, he's got to have his control. So
hey, speaking of Sigourney Weaver, I have a question for you, Dusty, and you could answer too, Marvin, because you and I, you're the reason why I was thinking about this. Because when we reviewed Scream, I was saying that Neve Campbell, Sydney, I was like, she's not really. I don't consider her in the pantheon of like final girls, right, in horror films.
Yeah.
And then when I was editing it, I revisited the conversation, and I was like, who do people consider like the best final girls? Because there aren't many out there, really. So here's a list, 15. Just go through it real quick. You got the Carla Wilson from I Know What You Did Last Summer. She's bottom of the list, number 15. This is 15 best final girls. Tina Shepard from Friday the 13th, New Blood. Okay. 13, Erin Harrison from You're Next. Don't think anybody would ever consider her. Somebody from Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Alice Johnson. Nope. Jamie Lloyd from Halloween 4, whom I mentioned to you. Maybe. Not really a final girl because she was a kid. 10, Tree Gelbman from Happy Death Day. I could see that. That was a good movie. Julie James, I Know What You Did Last Summer. My girl. Jennifer Love Hewitt. Okay, maybe. Still not good. Now, here's where I wanted to ask you, Dusty and Marvin. They have number 8 here, Sarah Connor from the original Terminator as a final girl. Do you consider her a final girl in that movie? Going on to be the hero of the rebellion and like the human race? Or the mother of the hero of the rebellion and the human race? I don't see her as a final girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
She is.
And we got Kirsty Cotton from Hellraiser. All right, fine. Gail Weathers from the original Scream. Don't see that as the case.
Oh, God.
Dina Johnson from the Fear Street movies. Those movies are too new for her to have final girl legacy. Nancy Thompson from Nightmare on Elm Street. That's the one I mentioned, other than Laurie Strode. Then they have Ripley as number 3 from Alien. I don't see Ripley as a final girl. She's a fucking. I mean, I don't know why I don't consider that.
So Sarah Connor survived an assassination attempt by robots from the future and fathered the leader
of the Resistance.
And she's not a final girl.
I don't.
And Sigourney Weaver lands on a planet to help save some people because of a distress signal, loses her crew and kills an alien, and she's not a final girl? What are you talking about?
Well, I guess I don't consider. I mean, I see why they would be, but I've never considered them that before because I guess those movies are action oriented more than horror. I guess with the exception of Alien.
Alien is a horror movie.
It is a horror movie, but it's a very action oriented horror movie. I feel like. No, Terminator's more action.
No, Aliens. The sequel is very sci-fi action adventure. But the first one is no.
Yeah, and I guess the first Terminator would be considered a horror movie. Go ahead, Marvin.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you didn't say the chick from Black Christmas, right?
No, well, yeah, I guess she would be considered. Well, I guess so. Of course, Laurie Strode's number 1 and Sidney Prescott's number 2. I don't know why Sidney. Because I brought this up, if you remember in the conversation, because like I was like, why does this franchise have to like lean so heavily on the ties to Sydney? Like we could move on from it. She was in 3 of the fucking movies. Like at this point, like enough. 4 of them.
But they can't get away from it. They have to tie it all back to the original fucking killing, or none of it makes any sense. Like those are the neighbor's dad's kid.
Well, right, but I had said like, just you could have a copycat, like the original 2 in this last one, who were just like, oh yeah, no, we're just big fans of the killer. Like let's just like we're just copycatting it. But yeah, anyway, I'm sorry to go off on that tangent. You mentioned Ripley, and I remember thinking this, like I never really considered her or Sarah Connor final girl, but I guess I could see it.
Yeah, if you think about the first Alien film, it's very slow. It's not action.
Yeah, that's true. No Laurie Strode. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I don't really want to tell you. Disney is in a fight with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
Oh yeah, he picked the wrong fucking person.
They are suing him.
Yeah.
None of this makes any sense to me. I know that this started when Bob Chapek was the CEO of Disney, and there were some employees that put pressure on the executive staff to denounce what is colloquially termed the "Don't Say Gay" bill. That's not what it's called, and that wasn't in the bill. But they've been fighting ever since, and it's been escalating. Now that Bob Chapek is gone and Bob Iger has come in, you'd think that they would be able to kind of mend that relationship, but DeSantis has doubled down. He tried to install a board on Disney. Disney owns a bunch of property in Florida. It's basically like the Vatican, and it's its own fucking city. They have their own health services, their own security. They have everything. They develop it the way they want, and they do it because it's private property. DeSantis had tried to install a board of supervisors that gets to determine how they develop their private property.
Yep.
And he threatened to build a prison next to Disney, which seems ridiculous and crass and moronic, and it's just political.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. He's coming off as he is a conservative governor in Florida. Obviously, he's coming off as, I guess he's trying to fight the woke corporations.
Yeah.
Because conservatives are generally pro-business. But I could see how both sides are really kind of anti-corporation. Unless you're a politician, then you're very pro-corporation because they fucking pay you a fuck ton of money to do whatever they want. But anyways, this Disney is actually suing. They tried to do some stuff to remove the board's power from doing anything. But they're in a fucking fight right now. I don't know. They've been fucking doing improvements on their own property since 1967. And now Ron DeSantis says, no, we're going to tell you what you can and can't do over there. So I think it's
crazy.
stupid. It's bad for the state. Disney could just up and leave and say, fuck you. There's other governors saying hey, come on up to South Carolina or come on down to Texas. Come on over. You guys want to fucking fight? Just come, bring that money, bring them billions over here. Come on.
Billions.
I've said
this
this
seems stupid to me.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
So again, not to super get into politics, but I've said this many times in private conversations that I think in the Republican field of people, Ron DeSantis is way more dangerous than Donald Trump politically. Trump clearly created this weird cult zeitgeist thing that's going on, but doesn't really have the political capital to get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
DeSantis is, and Trump just says Trump doesn't care. Trump doesn't have an ideology really. He just does whatever is good for Trump, right? So he says the things that are good for him. He knows what to say to incite the right people to do stuff. But beyond that, he doesn't really give a fuck about anything. DeSantis, I think, actually believes the things that he is quote unquote fighting for, right? Has the political capital to do things and does them. And that's why he's more dangerous in my mind. And, like I said a few minutes ago, Republicans don't have any substantive policy. So they do they're having this war on wokeism, which is the dumbest fucking thing you could ever hear of. But he's going out and doing things that are trying to the war against wokeness. It's bro, what? And they're burnt book burnings and shit from the fucking the 17th century and shit. It's really crazy what's going on over there. Fuck that guy. I hope he gets I hope he drowns in a fucking flood from rising sea level.
Oh my god.
Well, the
just kidding.
Marvel slide got a little bump.
Yeah.
Yeah. Opening weekend, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3, $118 million domestic.
Woo.
Not as good as Volume 2, which was, I think,
Really?
146 million.
Yeah.
But Quantum Mania was only 106. So, it was,
They
they
made
were on a
that
little bit
much
of a slide,
still.
but they,
I guess people were hyped for it.
yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
No one knew.
it's about the staying power of the film now. 116 is pretty good. How fast will it fall off? Can it do 50, 50, 30, 30, 20, or is it just going to be 5 every weekend from now on until it's out? So
yeah,
we'll see. But
I feel like people will go and
it
see
did
this
well.
multiple times.
Ed did.
Mm-hmm.
Did he?
Yeah, he saw it today.
Nice.
I was looking at Twitter. Someone just went and saw Evil Dead Rise for this like 7th time.
Evil Dead Rise was great. Fuck you, George. So there's the transition, I guess.
Yep, that's it. That's the
Let's
news.
do it.
Thank you for the news.
And political commentary.
Yep.
Yep.
We're here to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 today. Now, we've all agreed. We've been very vocal. Marvel's been kind of... They've been slacking lately. Probably since Spider-Man No Way Home. Been very disappointed with Marvel's output lately, but Guardians was the one. This is going to bring it back, boys. This is going to save it. This is going to bring it back to what we're used to. Did it do that though? Let's get into it and find out. Amazing movie. I'll say right off the bat.
Yes, it was.
James Gunn,
so fucking good.
James Gunn is a national treasure. I've been saying that shit in those very words. Guy he just cannot miss. He does no wrong. And he should make every movie possible.
Right.
Because
Superman's coming.
Superman is coming, and I have very high hopes for it now.
Yeah.
So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is allegedly the final time we will see the Guardians, or at least the Guardians as we know them, which has been quoted by James Gunn, and he's probably not going to be involved in it anymore. Obviously, he has a whole universe to craft over at DC.
Oh yeah.
We will see Star-Lord.
Which is a little sad, but I think they went out on a high note. This was like a bittersweet movie for me, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Because obviously the Guardians movies are probably up there, like in terms of like the more popular of the Marvel films, rightfully so.
Yep.
Guardians 1 is still one of my top 3 favorite Marvel movies.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's sad that obviously you can't, we've talked about this so much with like TV shows and even now with movies, because there's franchises and trilogies and shit. You can't just drag the shit on forever. You're not telling a comic book story, even though they're comic book characters. Dusty and I have like argued back and forth about this. Like, yeah, sure, they're comic book characters, but you can't tell a comic book story on a screen that just goes on forever, right?
Right.
You got to end it at some point. And I think, they ended it on a high note, despite being bittersweet. But this takes place still in current MCU timeline after the loss of Gamora in Avengers Infinity War. Remember, she was sacrificed by Thanos to obtain the Soul Stone on Vormir. And this is after the Disney Plus holiday special, where we see the team basically living on Nowhere, the giant head of the dead Celestial.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't know which Celestial it is, but it is a dead Celestial. And they're kind of just living there, like doing their thing, defending the galaxy and whatnot. And we meet up with them here on Nowhere yet again. And they're kind of like, putting up a sign, Guardians of the Galaxy. I guess that was like their office or something, which was pretty funny.
Right. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, fucking the newcomer, our boy that everybody's been waiting for, Adam Warlock, pops up. I don't know, like just zips on in, fucking tackles Rocket, and kind of starts off the plot. So in that little scuffle, Rocket gets mortally, is that a word?
Mm-hmm.
Fatally injured, let's just say that. And he's kind of on his deathbed. Apparently, it turns out Rocket has like a sort of a time bomb on his heart. And that got damaged. So the quest of the film is to figure out, well, how the fuck does Rocket have this on him? And we got to figure it out, and we got to figure out how to shut it down to save him.
Yep.
So yeah, most of the plot of the movie, I know we knew what it was about. We talked about it before, about like this movie was going to largely deal with Rocket's past. But I didn't quite expect it to be what it was, because goddamn, that shit was dark. Poor Rocket.
Been through hell.
Yeah. So, of course, written, directed by James Gunn. All our stars returned. Chris Pratt as Peter Quill, Pom Klementieff as Mantis, Bradley Cooper voicing Rocket, Dave Bautista as Drax, Karen Gillan as Nebula, Vin Diesel as Groot. Sean Gunn as Kraglin. We got a couple of newcomers. Reprising her role from the holiday special is Maria Bakalova as Cosmo the space dog. She was the daughter of Borat in Borat 2. She's fucking hilarious. I mentioned Will Poulter, this newcomer, as Adam Warlock, and Chukwudi Iwuji. I probably mispronounced that, so I apologize. As the High Evolutionary, the villain of this film.
He was so good.
Yeah, he was amazing, actually.
Yeah. And
there's actually an interesting there's interesting talk going online if what's his name in his legal issues,
Majors.
If Jonathan Majors gets recast, this guy would be a great choice to play Kang, and you could just say like, oh yeah, the High Evolutionary was a Kang variant. Like those rules apply.
That's
now.
a retcon.
Well, no, those it's not a retcon because they've established the rules. Like anybody, because there are billions of Kangs everywhere. He could just be a Kang, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting conversation. But he was amazing, and by God, like Marvel has had like a pretty good history with. I mean, some of the villains throughout the Marvel movies were like kind of like lukewarm, not so great. Other than like Thanos, obviously, Loki. Killmonger, like those are like the high-end villains, but this guy is like now on that list purely for the fact that like he's just a straight piece of shit. Like he is just a villain.
Yeah.
Right?
Everything terrible you could think of, he would do it.
Because like Thanos trying to wipe out like half of life in the universe, it's pretty fucked up. But there's a part of everybody that could kind of understand.
It's a bit nihilistic.
You can kind of understand,
The way he explains it, you're kind of like, I get it.
Yeah, I might snap too.
Yeah, I might snap. Might have to. Sometimes maybe you got to snap. You know what I'm saying?
50-50.
Loki, like you can kind of he's kind of being just like a bratty kid, but like you can kind of understand where he's coming from. Killmonger, obviously you understand where he's coming from.
Sure.
This guy's just a straight piece of shit.
Bro, like, he fucking he builds up an entire civilization of animal people, just to destroy them at the fucking snap of his finger.
What do you call a sociopath who tries to build the perfect society? Like,
Hitler.
That's a fucking it's an oxymoron.
Well, yeah, but that's like
funny.
What like Hitler and like other crazy psychopaths in history, like that was their ultimate goal, is to create like their version of the perfect society. So they genocided all sorts of people that didn't align with their idea of what a perfect society is. In Hitler's case, blonde hair, blue eyes, white people, right? And in this case, we don't really even know what that's what I thought was interesting about this. So big spoilers, folks. So turn back now.
Obviously, everything we do is spoilers.
Yeah, but sometimes I
don't think we have to warn people anymore.
Nah, you never know. But this guy, like, what I thought was super interesting is like he's trying to create the perfect society, right? So he's doing all sorts of like crossbreeding and like creating like fucking hybrid animals and like putting robot parts on them. That's what Rocket was.
Yeah. Yep.
Fucking with the rate of evolution that they go through.
Oh yeah, that was insane.
But you never really know what his goal was. Like what was his vision of a perfect society? They don't tell you, which is what I thought was super interesting, because I think that made him even more crazy, because at the end of the day, if you have that idea of a perfect, you probably don't really have a solid grasp of what that is, even in your own mind.
Because it's going to keep changing.
Right.
I mean, if it's your own and you control it, it's an authoritarian fucking nightmare.
Right. No, but the point is,
kind of give a glimpse of what he was trying for, though. Like,
I don't think they did.
Well, Rocket was kind of that, because Rocket was the only one that was able to think of something outside of what he made them into and programmed them to think of. And because there was a big thing where he kept talking about how they're able to they're able to memorize things and regurgitate those things, but they're not able to think and come up with solutions to things that even he wasn't able to come up with a solution to.
Well, I don't know that. I think it was just that particular
foundational knowledge or something. There's a phrase
said
they
something
used.
for sure. Yeah.
They used a specific phrase of like core memory or foundational knowledge or something that's just like it's in their DNA. They know that, but they don't know what's beyond that. And that's what one thing that Rocket did know is he knew things beyond his foundational core memory.
Well, I think that was just a trait of what he wanted his.
Oh, just one of many things for the perfect.
Like they have to have like cognitive ability to like think and create.
But they also have to have like certain physical abilities probably, and all these other things.
The only thing
they didn't really go into.
The only thing
that's what he was going on about the little girl. He's like, she doesn't need sleep. She doesn't need to eat.
Yeah,
she's been running for hours. She doesn't sweat. This is like perfect.
The only thing he really explained a little bit was when he said he visited Earth and was really taken by our basically the arts, like music specifically. He appreciated music. So I think that's what he was trying to create. If I had to guess, like his vision of the perfect society was one of like art and culture. So of course he would
and suburbs.
Yeah. So of course he would need the attribute that Rocket has, which is the ability to like cognitively think and like think of complex problem-solving skills.
Solutions.
Because that's how you become creative, right? Rocket's an inventor in the film. That's like his role as the Guardian.
He's greatest gadgeteer in the galaxy.
Yeah. So I think that was really the only explanation. But I thought that was an interesting look at him because it's like, oh no, he's just a megalomaniac. Like there's really no end goal because in somebody's mind, like you said, Marvin, the end goal would always move. Like the goalpost would always be moving.
Yeah.
Right.
It would, yeah.
Well, and it did. Like,
and it did because he destroyed the whole fucking.
Yeah. He's like,
so
Peter's like, I mean, you created all these great animals and they're like selling meth to each other. He's like, yeah, I know. Got to blow it up. Sorry about it.
Got to genocide the planet. But also, I think it's worth noting too the gold bitches. What was it? What's their species called again? The
I don't know.
Oh God.
He built them for aesthetics, though. I remember that. Yeah,
but you could tell that they are an early concept of his. The Sovereign.
That is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
because in Guardians 2, Aisha, the High Priestess, played by Dubicki, can't think of her first name, but she was going on and on about how like they are the perfect society. Like we're beautiful, we're perfect, like that was like their thing. So that you could now we find out that they aren't really in his vision of what that is. They are just like an early concept of it, right? And Adam Warlock in the comic books, like he's Space Jesus, like he is the perfect being.
Right. Yeah.
So that was also kind of a funny note. Ed didn't really care for the way they portrayed Adam Warlock in this. And then he went back and watched it today. He texted me earlier. He's like, no, he's like, I appreciate Adam Warlock. Because, again, in the comics, Adam Warlock is like the perfect being. He was made perfect. Well, his role in the movie is to show you, like, there is no such thing as perfection, really.
He was made perfect for that at that exact moment from what his creator thought was perfect.
Right, but in the movie, they fucking hatched him early, so he's like a fucking child in a fucking man's
literally
mind.
Born yesterday.
Yeah, and this, that, and the other thing. But so this movie starts out, I guess, through Aisha, who's working for the High Evolutionary. I guess she contacts him to help create Adam, which we speculated on too. And through her run-in with the Guardians, he becomes aware that his former experiment, I cannot tell you what the number was,
89P13?
89P13. Damn, you memorized that shit? Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, they said it a lot.
He finds out that Rocket is still out there and he's got some unfinished business with him, so he does hatch Adam Warlock early to go after Rocket and bring him back. And that's kind of how the plot unfolds. Early in the movie, right away in the movie, you get so Peter Quill is still depressed. We knew that because of the loss of Gamora.
He's losing it.
He's boozing. He's fucking.
He is down bad.
And it's actually sad because.
It is.
Well, it's sad because like you hate to see somebody do that, but also they are all like, whoop! I just completely whipped my fucking mouse into my keyboard. They are like really feeling for him, like they don't know how to help him, right? And it's an interesting situation because in real life, if somebody's dealing with addiction or depression or whatever the fact is, like, yeah, of course, their loved ones around them, you don't really know how to help a person in that situation. But it's even more so fucked up in this case because they're all fucking superheroes. Like, they all have these abilities, but they can't really fix his problem, and they don't know how to help him. So they're kind of just like dealing with him. And I really love Nebula's story arc in these movies. Because she goes from being like a vindictive, vengeful, spiteful bitch because of no fault of her own. She was tortured by Thanos all her life.
Mm-hmm.
But slowly but surely warms up to the idea of just loving people.
Right.
And of course, because, Endgame and Infinity War kind of brought them closer together. And now she's just part of the group. And she's like very, very caring. You could tell she's carrying Peter Quill to his bed and like she's taking care of them. Loved her story arc. She was my favorite like character arc, I think, in the whole series, and Drax as well. So I thought that was great.
She got that Winter Soldier tech up in her arm.
Yeah, that's the gift that Rocket gave her from the holiday special. He gifted her Bucky's arm. But it was the Wakandan arm. It was the one made out of vibranium. So he was able to he was able to fuck with it.
He used some of the tech and metal and put it in hers because I'm pretty sure Gunn said it's not actual Winter Soldier arm. It's better, which would make me assume like, Rocket gadgeted up on that arm and took some stuff from it and helped.
Yeah, but I'm saying in the holiday special, he gave her Bucky's arm. So he probably took components of it and did. Yeah. It was mostly probably the vibranium because, as we know, vibranium could do all sorts of crazy shit. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, that's. The thing I really loved the most about the movie is that the plot was just super simple. It's them trying to save Rocket. For the majority of the movie, Rocket's in a coma and he's on like life support. And the team is going through great lengths to try to figure out how to save him, and they got to get basically to where the High Evolutionary is to get his files, to figure out like what the code is, the failsafe code to get the bomb off his fucking heart. Very, very simple plot, but like so much happens in the plot. So much, and it's so emotional because the movie's broken up quite a bit. There's a lot of flashbacks to Rocket's time in captivity. Right from the start of the movie, you see him get snatched out of the cage as a baby. And he gets experimented on, and he gets thrown back in, and he's all shaky and scared, and oh god,
yeah, that was
no better way to fucking give somebody the feels than by fucking with animals, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like baby animals too.
Oh man, so sad.
Jeez, dude.
But yeah, Rocket had it hard.
He did.
All these animals did. They're getting tortured. They look like the fucking toys they look like Sid's toys from Toy Story.
They really do, yeah.
Fucking rabbit's got fucking strung over its mouth, and fucking the other guy's on fucking wheels, and there's like a spider fucking thing.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy shit. But yeah, this is the plot. They're trying to save Rocket. And a big portion of the movie as well plays into the relationship between Peter and Gamora. Not just between Peter and Gamora, but between Gamora and the group of Guardians, which comes full circle by the end of the film, which really
somewhat until they rip it right back from it's like, you thought it was back, bitch. No.
They really fucking broke my heart. Here. It really broke my heart. And the other big storyline through this movie is Peter slowly realizing that he has to go back to Earth at one point. And
finally,
it's time.
He's been avoiding.
Yeah, it's time for him to go back to Earth, rekindle whatever long lost relationships he can, because as we know, he was swiped off of Earth by Yondu the night his mom died, and
I wanted to eat him.
Yeah. So, there's like 3 real like major storylines that all kind of merge by the end of the film. And oh man, I cried so much in this movie.
I knew you were gonna cry. If I was tearing up, Dan's definitely fucking waterworks to the fullest.
Oh yeah, just so much crying. It wasn't as much as Endgame.
I mean,
still,
it's
Endgame,
insane.
Endgame holds the record, but yeah, a lot of crying. What were you saying?
Well, we were talking a little bit about Quill and Gamora and like dealing with, trying to help someone deal with something.
Right.
It's like, it's weird because it's not like she's dead. She is still alive, but it's like akin to like someone like your parent getting like dementia or something, because they're still
amnesia.
there.
Yeah.
They're still
If
the
you,
same
like,
person, but they don't know who you are, or
Well-
you don't really have the same connection.
Well, she's not really the same person, right? So
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I had this conversation with my friends after the movie because Nick was actually like, "Oh, they should have just left her dead. That was stupid." And I was like, "Well, it's not really
What the fuck?
stupid. It's not the same person, right?" So if we remember, our Gamora, she died. She got sacrificed by Thanos. This Gamora was pulled from the different timeline that Thanos came from in Endgame. And in that movie, she was still a villain. She was still like working for her father. She had not yet come up with the plot to like backstab her father
Right.
in that timeline. And and when she meets this Nebula in Endgame, she still got beef with her because obviously our Nebula had like come to terms and formed a relationship with this Gamora, right?
Right.
For the most part. So she's just had different
Just grunt at each other in this one.
Yeah. She's just had a different experience. She's never had the life experiences needed to become the Gamora that we know of. So I thought it was a really interesting thing that James Gunn did, because all of us fans were probably hoping and thinking that like, oh yeah, by the end of this movie,
happened.
she'll clearly get back to where our Gamora was, and like the ship will be righted. No.
Right.
James
Nope.
Gunn said, sorry. It's not, and he telegraphed this the whole time, because he's always said this isn't the same Gamora. Just like he said, this isn't the same Groot.
Yeah.
This is not the same Groot from the first movie. This is Groot's offspring, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
So,
He was jacked. Too.
oh my god, he was
Fucking
jacked.
Groot was fucking
Yeah.
so jacked.
This is fucking Debo.
Well, when he got
Debo
when he
Groot.
got ground down by Adam Warlock, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, what is that? He's gonna kill
Little
him.
head
Yeah.
running around.
That shit was fucked up.
the spider head. But yeah, this is not the same Gamora. So a lot of this movie is Peter sort of trying to convince her like that they had a relationship and why they loved each other and all this stuff. And the whole time, like, honestly, the movie makes you feel for her, because it's like he's being a pain in the ass, and he just can't understand. Like,
I
I'm
didn't
not.
get that.
You
I
didn't get
felt
that.
more for him, to be honest.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I did definitely feel bad for him for sure. But it's but if you think about it for 2 seconds, and I think the movie tried to do that, is put you in her perspective. Like, yo, I'm not the same person.
Yeah.
Like, I get where you're coming from.
She came off very frustrated. Like,
Mhm.
stop it! What the fuck? Like, she even flipped out at him and almost like fucking assaulted him until Nebula stepped in, and she was very
Right.
unlikable in this movie. Very
Because really,
unlikable.
like, you
I
couldn't
did not
expect
like her at all.
someone like if you have a wife and she gets amnesia or something, you can't expect her to really even have sympathy for you for something you
No.
think that you guys have together. You know,
Well,
what I
even
mean?
if you break up with somebody or get a divorce, and then like maybe you fucking run into each other like a couple of years down the line, and you're like, hey, we should like, rekindle whatever. But it's like, people change.
Like,
We're
nah.
not the same people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And this is she's just completely not the same person. Like, physically, mentally, emotionally, she's just
Yeah.
not the same person, right? And
Yeah.
Dusty just said, I found her very unlikable. They did that on purpose, because us as the audience, it subverts expectations. We're expecting her to grow back into the Gamora that we lost and that
Right.
Peter lost.
Which is unreasonable.
It was
of us,
unreasonable, always unreasonable to think
especially
that
in
was
such
the
a
case.
short time frame. Yeah.
Right. So I really appreciated the fact that James Gunn did that, because the whole movie you're like, oh my God, would she just like fucking, when's she gonna snap out of it? When's she gonna
Kiss him already?
right? When's she gonna realize she loves him? And she just never does.
When's she gonna realize she loved him?
And then by
Yeah.
the end of the movie, at the end, everybody gets a happy ending at the end of this movie, thankfully. We'll talk about that in a bit. But hers specifically,
yeah.
like, she has a nice little moment with Peter where Peter finally realizes, like, oh, she's not the same person, and she's never going to be. And she gives him, like, a little bone. She's like, I bet we would have been fun. Like, you see that she saw a little bit of what the other Gamora saw in him by the end of this. He's a good person. He cares about
I
people.
thought she said, I bet we were fun.
Yeah, I bet we were fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she
You
saw.
said, I bet we would be fun. So, like,
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I misworded. Yeah, she said, I bet we were fun.
threw me off for a second.
Because she saw, like, he is a good person, and she knows, like, that, okay, he possesses some of the qualities of a person that I would fall for, maybe. even though it's never going to happen, like, I get it. And I'm sorry I'm sorry that you lost her, basically, is the message that you get. And then she goes back, you know, we find out that throughout her whole missing time when she disappears at the end of Endgame, she was hanging out with the Ravagers led by Stallone, which in the comic books, they're the original Guardians group, but in the movie, they're Ravagers. She's been hanging out with them and she's a Ravager. And that's like kind of a big revelation in this movie. And at the end, she goes back with them. And they're so happy to see her. Welcome back. Oh, our girl's back. Like, we missed you, blah, blah, blah. And she's like laughing with them. And it's like, you realize, like, oh, like, this is her group of people.
Guardians,
she found her own family.
Yeah. This is her family, while our Gamora, this was her, you know, the Guardians were her family. So it was like, it was kind of heartbreaking because you realize, like, oh, she's never going to be the Gamora that we lost. But also you're happy that she found happiness the way our Gamora did, growing up with fucking Thanos and like all the shit that he put them through, right?
Yeah.
Training
that
them
line you said where she was like, I'll bet we were fun or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was similar to Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like when they're in the alternate Hollywood type of that's whatever scene, and then they I forgot the line. But
in another life I would have loved just doing doing taxi, laundry and taxes with you. Yeah,
it reminds me of that.
So it was actually a play on something that they were playing throughout the whole movie, which was, did it look cool or something like that? Like,
they had to carry that one because
it had a similar vibe to it.
Well, when in the first movie, which is still the best, I'm just gonna say.
I think this one is the best, but
I still think the first one is the best, just for rewatchability alone, because they're together all for the first time, except for Mantis, of course. And they're doing all these things. Like when they fucking crash a ship into another ship, it's because they have no other choice and they're just fucking doing it. And by the time the third movie rolls around, they've done it so much that now they're like, they're trying to measure, like, okay, how cool was that one? How cool was that one? Which is a great, like,
it was a fun little thing.
I recently watched the first one. It was very good how they progressed that of like, yeah, we do badass shit all the time, you know?
Right.
Because before they're like, Peter had to talk him into going on that first mission. He's like, you basically want us to die. He's like, yeah, but I mean, we're family. And they do that whole speech. But I thought that was good. I thought that was clever.
I think it was also. Sorry, go ahead, Marvin.
Did you guys think Quill was gonna die?
No.
No?
I thought Drax was gonna die.
No, I mean, when you saw him physically dying, did you think he was going to die? Did you think he was going to be saved by Adam Warlock?
I knew 100% he was going to be saved by Adam Warlock, yeah.
What? How do you know this?
Well, A, because they did it before. This happened twice to him now. In the first one, it was saving Gamora.
Gamora, yeah.
In the second one, it was Yondu saving him.
I see.
In the same situation. And then in this one, I just knew, because so we'll talk about Warlock a bit, but and I'll explain why I knew, but I knew 100%. But what I was going to say was the did it look cool thing was also a callback to Yondu in the second one, when he says to Peter, when Peter says, "Oh, you look like Mary Poppins," and he goes, "What was he cool?" He goes, "Yeah, he's pretty cool." So I thought that was a fun little thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you nailed it, Dusty. This is, I mean, the trilogy is really the story about like people, like a bunch of nobodies going from frenemies to sort of family members.
Yeah, hating each other and want to kill each other, being enemies. Yeah.
And that's why I really, really, really loved Nebula's story arc the most, because she's just like, I think her story is heartbreaking in and of itself, like what she had to go through, right? But also like, by the end of this movie, she is like very much a leader and like a nurturer, and like even more so at the end of the film, because by the end of the film, the Guardians rescue all the creatures and children that the High Evolutionary is experimenting on, and they take them into Nowhere, and Nowhere becomes basically like a sanctuary for, I don't know, it's just a sanctuary for people who need it, right? And you know, everybody's got their own task. She's gonna Yeah, she's basically the leader. She's like helping shape the society. Drax is kind of the father figure. We see in the film he's like really good with kids, and that was another really good story arc because we know Drax lost his family to Thanos, and that was his whole
Ronan,
driving.
Yeah.
No, it was Thanos who killed his kid. He was going to help them fight Ronan to get to Thanos.
I thought it was Ronan that murdered his wife and kid.
I don't think so. Maybe it was.
Yeah, that's why he called Ronan.
It was Ronan because he was chasing Ronan.
It was Ronan.
Because Ronan was like, I don't remember your family. And then he said, I do remember your family. And the screams were pitiful.
Yeah. It was Ronan.
I mean, Thanos sent him.
Yeah, it was Ronan at the behest of Thanos. You're right.
Yes.
So we know from the first movie that Drax, like, that's his whole motivation is like he wants revenge for his family. And in this film, when they run into the little kids that were in cages and shit, you see how good of a dad Drax actually was. Which is it's cool too because it takes him out of his, like, he's obviously the comedy role in the movie, right?
Fucking monkey noises. Yeah.
And we see how good he is with children, and it was like really kind of just like warm and also heartbreaking at the same time. And then Nebula drops that line on him of like, "Oh, you were never meant to be a destroyer. You were meant to be a father." Oh
yeah,
Scott will choke.
I think that was great at taking him out, but also when he knew that other language. That was like a good moment of taking him out of being just like the normal comedy relief.
Yeah. Well, because
he was like, he was kind of like the saving of that moment.
Well, because you have
to. Oh, I'm not so dumb after all. You know, I know a little bit.
Well, you have to remember though, he's not dumb. They explain it in the first movie.
I'm just saying, but that's how people think. That's how people see him.
Yeah. As the movies go on, people see, oh, he's just a dumb comedy relief. But that was explained in the first movie. He's not dumb. His people are just literal.
Yeah, everything's literal.
They don't have the ability to like do anything not literal. So it's funny, but he's not dumb at all. He's not a dumb guy. So of course he would know another language. Like he probably knows a lot of things, which I thought was really cool. Speaking of languages, by the way, I wonder if you guys caught this. I thought about it, and then James Gunn confirmed it. But finally, Groot, understanding what Groot said, "I love you guys." How did you guys take that?
That we finally understand Groot.
We finally understand.
Okay, good. Because he confirmed that. It's like it's us, the audience, finally. Like we're part of the family.
Because nobody understands him at first, but then they do because they showed Gamora go through that.
Yeah, that was hilarious. How she was like, "What is it?"
Yeah,
I know who you are.
I know who you are.
Well, and fucking Chris Pratt, like in the first movie, like he's like, "I heard you the fucking first time." He's like, "Well, okay." And Rocket says he knows 3 words: I am and Groot.
Yeah,
that's it. It's all. It's gonna get old real fast, and it never did. It was
interesting enough, though. Thor understood Groot right away when he joined him. So, but yeah, that was a nice little touch that finally we are able to understand Groot. But they did such a good job with that. I can't credit Vin Diesel for saying I am Groot, but I guess maybe a little credit goes his way. But like the movie, like every movie, like you kind of know what he's saying, even though you don't know what he's saying. Like just from context, right? You get it. You can kind of put together what he's saying.
We are Groot
in the first one.
The first one,
yeah. So yeah, a lot of really good character arcs. By the end of the movie, Peter Quill goes back to Earth. He finds out that his grandfather's still alive, and he's gonna basically just kind of do that for a while. Nebula's gonna take over running nowhere with Drax, and you assume Groot and Rocket. And Mantis decides to go off on her own. She needs to find out who she is really as a person, as like a being, because she was just a slave to ego for her whole existence. And then
checking those monsters that they fought was that was the beginning of 2, right? They were fighting one of those things.
Yeah. I can't remember what they're called, but
I can't either.
The big things with the teeth and that shoot rainbows.
Rainbows.
Yeah. But so let's talk about Adam Warlock, because he was kind of like the big thing, right? And he was like the newcomer. We knew he was coming. He's a big character in the comic books that they didn't utilize the same way. In the comic books, Marvin, Adam Warlock is like how they defeat Thanos in the Infinity War.
That's interesting.
He's the one that wields the Infinity Gauntlet, as does Nebula.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's a big character. He also has that stone that's in his head in the comic books is actually the Soul Stone. Whereas in the films, the Soul Stone was on Vormir. protected by Red Skull's ghost or whatever the fuck, the Phantom Red Skull.
Mhm.
But yeah, don't really care for him in this movie. I thought he was
Really?
Yeah, I just felt like he was kind of just jammed in there and not really he didn't really serve a purpose to me, to be honest. Other than to like move the plot along. Like
Yeah.
he's the reason why the plot began to begin with. And I get it. It's fine. I didn't not like him. Like I didn't hate him being there. He just kind of like, I feel like if you take him out of the movie, it doesn't change one way or the other, right? And
well, I feel like it was more of an introduction because
Yeah, of course.
he had an arc that was pretty wild in and of itself.
Yeah. So as I described him earlier, and Ed described him as this to me, he's space Jesus. Like that's his thing. But you know, he's like a kid.
What do you mean by that, though?
Think about Jesus in space. That's basically it. That's who he is. He's like, he's just giga powerful. He could do. He's just space Jesus.
I don't see it. I don't get it.
Well, you wouldn't from the movie. That's like, I'm talking about comic book Warlock. Like he's he's like the perfect being, is what he is.
Got it.
Yes.
And so, you know, we said he was freshly hatched in the movie. He was released from his pod early, his birthing pod early. So he's a child in the body of a man, and he's very powerful.
Yep.
And he acts like a child in the movie. He makes rash decisions. He doesn't really understand things. He's like playful. He has a affinity for the cute animal, as anybody would. But by the end of the movie, they save him from something. He's trying to fight them for no reason, and like he saves
the ship.
Yeah, the ship's about to blow up, and I think who saves him? Drax? Somebody saves him.
Yeah, no, he was gonna like light up Groot, and he passes out after he escaped, and
Right.
Groot sits there and looks at him, and then gets him out, and he asks, Groot,
All right.
Yeah, why'd you do this? And I forget what the line was. What do they say?
Yeah, why did you save me? And he said, "I am Groot," and I think it was Drax that said, because he said everybody deserves a second chance.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's right.
Everybody deserves a second chance. So that kind of changes Warlock's whole shit in the movie, and then all of a sudden he obviously he's the plot device. He's the Captain Marvel of this movie. He saves Peter by the end.
Yeah.
That's why I knew Peter was gonna get saved. Like, you know, the trailers and stuff kind of like left you with playfully like who's gonna die. Everybody thought somebody was gonna die in this movie. People thought it was going to be Rocket once you found out that the movie was going to be about Rocket's past. I thought it was going to be Drax because the trailer had a big fucking hole in his chest, and like Drax was the one that made sense to me to die. Like he has nothing to live for the way I saw it. So that goes to show you where my fucking depressing ass brain is at. Not a hopeful creative guy like James Gunn.
Yeah, right.
But that line is the whole premise of the story of the three movies. Everybody deserves a second chance, right? Everybody has got, and not just a second chance to like not be a piece of shit, but a second chance at life. At like, oh, you lost your family? Here's your second chance. Raise these kids.
Oh,
Nebula,
you lost your life?
Yeah, Nebula.
Gamora.
You were helping fucking somebody do genocide. Well, here's your second chance. Create a better society now. Peter Quill, you lost your family. You disappeared and never went back. Here's your second chance. Gamora. Yeah. Everybody has a second chance, and that was like the main premise of this trilogy is everybody has a second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance, and if you get a second chance, if you have the opportunity, don't squander it.
That's right.
Except for that one stupid guy that nobody loved, that Drax wanted to get.
Yeah. Not even
just the one. Yeah, he was looking for just the one.
Not even one stupid guy that nobody
Please
loved.
give him one. He needs one, Lord.
But
Kill everybody.
But
we didn't even talk about the crazy, disgusting fucking knowledge zone center thing that they were at.
Oh yeah, with it was all just
fucking
like made
weird
of flesh.
ass.
Oh, the orgas.
Yeah. Oh my
the
god,
orgascope
it was
or whatever.
so disgusting.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny, Dan? We talked a little bit about how people were upset about the
Gunn
small
casting
role.
his wife. Yeah, she was in it for
And
like
it was
2
she
seconds.
had the fucking smallest role ever, bro.
But that's what he does.
She was so forgettable. Like, why are you guys upset about this?
Why not? Like, go be upset at Adam Sandler. He has the same people in his movies all the time. It's like the guy casts his friends. Like, who fucking cares?
Yeah,
Nathan Fillion is in it. He's his friend.
She had such a small part. Dude.
His wife is in it. His brother's in it.
5 actors in every Scorsese movie you
Right.
can think of.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But yeah, so back to Warlock. Obviously, he's in it for future considerations, no more, no less. He was like sort of just a plot device. Get the ball rolling, save Quill at the end, then done. Show him he's part of the group now, right? in that little post credit scene.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, you know, there's not much to talk about in terms of like breaking the movie down as more than we did, because it's your standard Guardians movie. It's fucking hilarious. It makes you fucking cry because James Gunn is the most, like, one of the most heartfelt writers I think out there.
And it's got great action.
It's got great action. One thing I really wanted to bring up too, I complained a lot about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Terrible fucking movie, Quantumania. But I really criticized the shit out of it for using too much CGI. This movie is the perfect example, because I even brought it up when I made the criticism. I was like, well, you might be saying, Dan, like, what the fuck? Like, Guardians is filled with CGI. These are fake worlds that were on here. But
yeah,
you notice in this movie, like, yes, obviously there's a lot of big set pieces that are CGI from a distance, but when you're in these places, when you're in nowhere, it's a fucking set. When you're inside the fucking orgoscope or whatever the fuck it's called, it's a set. When you're inside the fucking pyramid thingy, it's a set. When you're in the suburbs, it's a set. Like, it feels very real, despite the fact that there's a lot of CGI going on. Whereas in Quantumania, fucking everything was CGI. Everything.
Yeah.
So that was like this was a very stark difference to me, and honestly, like, I hope that this is I don't know, this is like the gold standard of what Marvel movies were once and
So
could be. Like, this is the perfect movie, really. And at the end of the day, like, it's the perfect ending to the trilogy of what is probably going to be what will probably go down as one of the greatest trilogies ever made, I think. And I think
great send off.
Rightfully should. You're right. It's a great send off because, like, everybody gets their happy ending, really, or their time to, like, while we described, like, the thing with Gamora as heartbreaking, it's heartbreaking for us because it's not the ending we wanted, but it's the ending that the character deserved.
Great for her.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, of course she's not the same Gamora, and
she's not sacrificing her self to please Quill.
And she's not going to have to die at the hands of Thanos because Thanos is dead.
That's right.
You know, she gets to just live a happy, fulfilled life in whatever way that takes shape. So yeah, I thought it was really good from top to bottom. I loved everything about it. The writing, the acting, the comedy, the drama. It was very, very, I cried so much, especially all the stuff with Rocket. We didn't even really get into the stuff that he went through, but he lost his friends that he was in his cages with, Floor. And
the good dog thing was good. I thought that was good.
That got me
at the end when she is a good dog.
That got me the most because obviously, so there's.
I mean, you knew that was coming. Yeah. Like, right. You knew that was coming.
Yeah. Well, so there's a running thread in the movie where Cosmo is Kraglin says, "You bad dog," and she's like, "Take it back. How could you say that? Take it back." So the whole movie she's begging him to take it back, and at the end she does obviously. She fucks some shit up with her mind powers.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
And he says you're a good dog.
Stones, he fucked some shit up too. He finally figured out his I don't know what it's called, but
came to him.
His arrow.
That really got me too. The Yondu moment, because Yondu's like the straight OG Triple G. Like nobody's more gangster than Yondu. But
Yondu was a big softie. He just played a hard ass.
Yeah. But the good dog thing got me because obviously Cosmo's a golden retriever, and
golden retriever.
Emma, oh man, that got me pretty good.
I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it.
But that was a little bit more personal to me. But yeah, oh man, a lot of emotional packed movie. Doesn't get much better than this. Again, James Gunn is a living treasure. Trying to think if we missed anything really to talk about. I don't think so.
Not really.
I mean, going back to Rocket, he finally realized that Peter was right the whole time, and he is a raccoon, and so he takes his given name. I am Rocket Raccoon.
That's right. That was a good moment.
He can finally, because he's been called lots of things: hamster, ferret, whatever,
squirrel.
But Peter's always held that he's a raccoon. He's like, I'm not a raccoon. There's only one thing like me, and that's me.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't know what raccoons are.
Right. He finally has this realization, though, that
I cried a lot at that moment. Hang on, Marvin. Hold your thought. I cried when he saw that, like, oh, Pacific Northwest, like raccoon, whatever. Because he's never referred to Rocket Raccoon in the movie. Like, that's just his comic book name. He's just Rocket. I cried when he came up with the name Rocket because he saw, like, he wants to, like, do all these grand things. But also with Rocket, you finally realize what he's hiding from, right? Quill says to him at the end of Guardians 2 when they're watching the Ravager funeral for Yondu, like, Quill is always saying you're just a hard ass because like you're like afraid to get close to us. Well, we learn why he's afraid to get close to anybody because the only beings he was ever close with were fucking gunned down in front of him.
Slaughtered. Yeah.
And he feels that he's to blame for it because he kind of like broke them out and like that's the whole reason for it. But by this, he realizes the importance of family. Sorry, Marvin, what were you going to say? We didn't talk about what?
When he rescued all the animals, when he made a point to rescue all the animals.
Oh yeah,
when they were like, "Oh yeah, we got all the people." He's like, "No, we didn't get everybody."
Yeah, the initial plan was all in sentient, beings on the fucking ship, and then it changed because, I mean, he was not sentient before he was.
Yeah. Well, I think it also raises the question of like, what is sentience, right? Or I mean, I guess it's a cognitive thought, but like,
correct.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
highly debated. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you could break that down because
some people would argue that plants are sentient.
I mean, I've talked about this multiple times. Like I have a fish tank right next to me, and on a daily basis, like I see these motherfuckers like little fucking brains, like microscopic brains that do some crazy shit where you're like, wait, how does a fish, like when I approach my tank, they like swim up to me. Like they know like, oh, this is the guy that feeds us.
Yeah.
Like, how do they know that? I know it's like behavioral and patterns and stuff like that, but no, they fucking know.
They know, dude.
They go to they say that fish lose their memory for like, the old saying, goldfish have no memory, right?
Right. Yeah.
These motherfuckers, they sleep in the same spot every fucking night. Like they know that that's their spot. Like I think there's way more to learn about animals, and obviously dogs are smart. Like animals are way smarter than they get credit for. Which I thought was one of like the cool messages of the movie when obviously they were going to save the animals. They weren't going to let them die.
Oh, for sure.
But it raised a bigger question as to like all life is value to it, not just what we consider sentient, right? And that maybe raises the question. It's a parallel to what his vision of the perfect society is. Like human beings, we sit there and like, oh, we're the fucking giga species like on the planet. But more and more, more and more every day we learn that like we're not really. Like, like dolphins are very fucking smart. There's horses, like animals are capable of things that I think we have yet to discover. But I thought that was interesting too. So thanks for bringing that up.
I enjoyed that Rocket didn't, his friends weren't necessarily as like smart as him, but he didn't like put them down or anything.
No,
like,
of course not.
When they were coming up with their names and they were like, "Yeah, I'm Floor, I'm Teefs," but he wasn't. It was all love. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, no, your heart breaks for Rocket, but but again, everybody did get their happy ending, so that was great to see. And the other one, the last thing I want to say is like this should be the fucking gold standard for Marvel movies, right? Like this is what made Marvel great to begin with, like from its inception of this whole fucking universe that they started, right? It was singular movies that tell singular stories that sometimes don't have anything else to do with anything else, yet they do a little bit, right? Like this was nothing to do with the grander Marvel universe. But you know that Adam Warlock's going to play a big role someday. You know that we're probably going to see maybe Rocket again someday, or Groot, or some of them, maybe not, who knows. You know that they're there somewhere, but they don't necessarily mean, it's not like, hey, here's a movie and this is the villain and he's the next big thing. Hey, here's a movie and this is setting up the next thing. It was never like that. And for some reason,
we know Drax is done for sure, right? And so is Gamora. Are they the two that said?
Well, I mean, listen,
I know Drax, Bautista, like
he said he's 100%
through makeup.
Yeah,
having to go through makeup so much all the time. It was just.
If you go by,
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, for sure. If you go by what they said, though, right? And this is the actor thing. Robert Downey Jr. said, "Oh, I'm done with Tony Stark. There's nothing more to tell." Well, now there's rumors that he would be open to reprise it. Same with Chris Evans. Like they all say the shit, but if you go by what they said, James Gunn has been pretty firm in saying this is the end of Guardians as you know it, right? This is the end of this Guardians team. Okay, fine. All the actors, Bautista, I'm done. Gamora, no, I'm done with the role. Chris Pratt, I'm done with the role. They kind of ended it, though, in an open-ended way where it's like, hey, you may see more of them, especially with the tagline at the end, legendary Star-Lord will return.
Yeah.
So, like, now in the comic books, that's interesting. he took on the name the legendary Star-Lord when he went out on his own, if I am correct in that.
Yeah.
I'd have to double check. Ed might have to fact check us on that, but I'm pretty sure there's a point in time where he goes off on his own and takes the name the legendary Star-Lord.
So he's going solo.
So who knows? But I don't think that stuff's important, and that's what I was just saying. Like all those little tags at the end of the movies back in the day, Captain America will return, Iron Man will return. Like,
right.
It never really mattered to that story, and it doesn't matter to this story. This story was singular and isolated, and it was told in a really cohesive way. And the other movies recently don't have that, and I hope they get back to that. I hope we'll see this and be like, oh shit, like this is what made our shit so good.
I mean, it was kind of singular, but it kind of wasn't, because it was the culmination of a team, like the Guardian.
No, but it's what I mean is their story. It's not reliant on outside MCU universe stuff, with the exception of like Gamora died in Endgame. Like that's about it, right? Like it's not. Yes, you know
the first
that
one centered around the Power Stone. Which
no,
was the
I get it, but the
Infinity Stone.
No, I understand that. Which, by the way, James Gunn said in an interview he came up with the whole concept of the Infinity Stones with that story, because they never came to him with like, oh yeah, we're building. Like they knew that they wanted to build the Infinity Saga, but he was the first one that was like, oh yeah, the Power Stone is like in this orb, and that's why the Mind Loki's staff was like housing the Mind Stone and like so on and so forth. But yeah, no, of course they're like in the universe, but they're not heavily reliant on it. Like, yeah, the first movie is still is like, yes, it's centered around the Power Stone, but it's still the journey of these like ragtag group of people like learning to be friends with each other. And then the second one, learning to be family. And then this one, like learning like what family means, what it means to be a family, and how family supports one another and stuff like that.
It's not like Quantumanium where it was just the intro for Kang. It's,
Quantumania was the
way more self-reliant storylines and things like that.
Quantumania existed specifically to introduce Kang. Ant-Man, Doctor Strange like existed specifically to just introduce us to the rules of the multiverse somewhat.
Right.
And it's like, you know, so like they all have like specific things. So yeah, I don't think this was the same thing in that regard. But yeah, no, I fucking loved it. I thought it was great. Another banger by James Gunn. It left me with a lot of hope for Superman. I never really had a concern about Superman or his DC. My only concern really for Superman is the casting. I hope, like, I trust him, but I really want them to pick somebody who is a no-name actor. Like, I don't want to be sitting here and be like, oh, that's Chris Evans as Superman, or just as an example. I want to be like, oh, that's Superman.
Find a Mark Hamill.
Yep.
Yes.
Find a Mark Hamill. Find a Christopher Reeve. But yeah, he'll do it justice. And seeing how much heart and he put into this movie and how much care he has for the characters and like telling their personal stories, the title Superman Legacy has me positive too, because you know he's like, I think the word legacy means this movie's going to be heavily reliant on what Superman means to not only the in-universe world but the real world itself, which is stuff that I've talked about here on the show. So I think that'll be great.
We did get our first official Marvel DC crossover.
Did we? Oh yeah, with well, you mean
Eagly.
Actor?
Eagly.
Who?
The Eagle in Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Was apparently in this movie. And James Gunn confirmed it, because somebody's like, so is that like supposed to be a reference to Eagly? And James Gunn is like, that is Eagly.
Oh, okay.
So the
cool.
Eagle from the Peacemaker.
This Peacemaker's
Eagly.
pet. He had a pet.
Peacemaker's pet, Eagly. Yeah, bald eagle named Eagly is actually in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
That's funny.
It. So we did get our first actual literal crossover.
That's a cool little Easter egg.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic movie. I don't even really, there's not much more to say about it. I think we covered everything. Yeah, great. I will see it again. And I think it does have like, you know, lasting power.
Oh yeah.
To your
the entire trilogy does, I think.
Yeah.
To your comments on casting, in that interview with the Toronto Sun that he and Chris Pratt did.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt was talking about how he almost blew his screen test. Like he was doing a screen test with some lady painted green, you know, do Gamora, and it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And James was like, all right, this isn't working. Let's just try something else. And Bautista was there, and like Bautista came up and he said something or something, like Chris poked him in the chest and he said, and Bautista said, at Drax, that's the last time I'll ever touch you. Or some shit like that. And it was hilarious. And they had that moment. But Gunn responded to all that. He's like, yeah, I almost blew it. Like, but Gunn, he said, I knew I wanted to cast Chris as Star-Lord, and I knew I wanted to cast Dave as Drax. So the screen tests weren't for me. They were for proving to Marvel that I could cast who I wanted to.
Right.
So I have a lot of confidence in James Gunn over there at DC. I think he's going to do a pretty good job. I know casting is concerned, but
yeah,
I think he'll do a good job on it.
Yep, I agree. but yeah, so bittersweet ending, but all good things must come to an end. It has an 8.4 on IMDb. I'm bumping it up. I'm giving it a 9, baby.
Yes, sir. It's a 9. Easy 9.
8.5. Okay.
Okay.
Always got to be the odd man out.
I could, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Gamora was a little unnecessary in this movie. I know people wanted to see.
I don't think so. It gives closure to not only Peter Quill, it gives closure to us.
Sure, I guess. It's just, I don't know. It felt like she felt more out of place to me than Warlock.
Well, I think that was the point, as I said earlier. I think the point was for us to be frustrated about, like, come on, bro, like, please just fucking fall in love with him.
Just
we want you to be together. Give us what we want. And this was telling you, like, hey, you don't always get what you want in life. In fact, you rarely get what you want in life, right? And also, though, it also proved to me, I left very positively about this too, because with, the multiverse and like the Secret Wars coming up, like there's a little bit of concern in my mind of like, are they going to cheapen those deaths by bringing back Nat or bringing back Cap, bringing back Tony Stark for a cameo? It would cheapen those deaths. Maybe not a cameo, but you know what I mean? And this was, I feel like, a positive sign that like they are gonna stick to their guns. Like those people who are dead. Because again, this is not Gamora. This is not our Gamora. It's a different Gamora.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty positive about that. That if we do see Tony Stark again, if we do see Cap again, not Cap, I can't call him Cap anymore, but Chris Evans. Chris Evans. If we see those guys.
Mackie?
No. If we see those characters that are gone now, again, it's not going to be in a way that cheapens their sacrifice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Great movie. I feel that, like I said, I feel that what's his name, Warlock, was a little out of place, and I'm a little bit. I think maybe Mantis could have gotten a little bit more of a little bit more detailed character arc. Like we learn in the Christmas special that like she's Peter's sister technically because Ego made her, but like I don't feel emotionally attached to her that much as I do to the others. So maybe that's just me, but I don't think there wasn't enough of her story really. Like you don't feel for her. Like obviously, okay, it sucks. She was born under a fucking weird genocidal god guy, but other than that, like her going off and doing her own thing, it wasn't to me like, oh, I feel bad. It was just like, oh, okay. Whereas everybody else's decision at the end, I was like, oh God, they're breaking up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get that. I definitely understand that sentiment.
Yeah. So yeah, fantastic movie. Loved it. Thank you, James Gunn. Keep making your fucking shit because you're a fucking killer.
Second best movie in the franchise.
You liked it better than the second one?
Yes. It was definitely better than the second. First is the best one, though. Okay, and so here's why I'm going to expand on this just real quick before we end. I think the rewatchability of the first one has more rewatchability to it than the third one, because the first one, like you get all the original jokes, you get all the original cast together, and it's just fun because Ronan is there and you do have the Power Stone. There's a lot more action, whereas this one, like, there's a lot of slow story in this, like all the flashbacks to when they're just like hanging out or dancing in the cage with like the pet animals. Like that might be some shit I'm just gonna fast forward through next time and not necessarily like, yeah, let's just get to the good stuff.
Oh,
like,
no,
I think the first one may have a little more rewatchability than this one. That's just my opinion. That's why I think the first one's better.
I would agree, but not for a different reason. Only because like if I were to watch this one, I would want to sit down and watch the first two. Like I'm not the type of guy.
Just watch it all at once.
I can't sit down and watch like the third of a trilogy on its own. Like I have to lead up to it. I was gonna watch John Wick 4 last night finally, and I couldn't do it because it was kind of late. And I was like, "Fuck, I don't even remember John Wick 3." So like, I have to watch John Wick 3 before I watch 4. So I know I don't have to, but in my brain I do. But yeah. So that's it, folks. Let us know what you think of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Leave a comment wherever you're listening or watching. Let us know what you thought of it. If you haven't seen it and you're a fan of this shit, go check it out because it was
immediately
amazing.
Yep.
Don't let the last couple of Marvel projects fool you. This is on a whole nother level. Back in Marvel form, or maybe just James Gunn form. But that is yet to be seen. But yeah, folks, that's gonna do it for us. We appreciate you hanging out with us this week. We'll catch you next week, right here, same time, same place.
Costa.
See ya.